All right, hello. Welcome to ARMA League 2020, Hanchans 18, 19, and 20. The rules for ARMA League are Akaari, Open Tanyao, Red Fives. We do have Uma of 30-10, -10, -30, with an with a start of 25k and a return of 30k. We do have a Putz and Urudora and Kantora, all the fun stuff. For the standings today, at the start of the day, we do have Tile Dreaming in first place, AUNSW Wanderers in second, Trombonomi in third, Flame Curse Evil Eye in fourth, the last Weiss Players in fifth, Doors for Losers in sixth, Notice Me Tenpai in seventh, Zomoni Kateridus in eighth, the Powerpuff Boys in ninth, and Can't For Fun in 10th place. This is today's schedule, and we will be watching the right game first for today. So, showdown between Flame Curse Evil Eye, Doors for Losers, Notice Me Tenpai, and Tile Dreaming. Today, I am joined by two wonderful commentators, two guest commentators, Korak from yesterday,
Hello, everyone.
and Nosti, who is playing in the league for Flame Curse Evil Eye.
Hey guys.
So, that is essentially all of the setup. We see the games will start eventually, I hope. Just got to check.
Well, we're on a 5-minute delay because if we're viewing anything, it's going to be on a 5-minute delay, so we may be a couple minutes.
I was planning to watch the other game, but if it takes too long, then we might just watch this one instead. Not sure. But yes, Dusty, thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to have you here. We will be watching your team for 2 Hanchans in a row. You have any hopes? You got any comments? Any encouraging words or fighting words?
I'm just hoping that my team can pick up the slack that I have because I took basically they're carrying me at the moment. I'm basically on negative 100, so hopefully they don't have as much bad. They have some good hands, much better hands than I do, and hopefully win their games.
Fair enough. So while we're waiting for some of these games to start, because there's lateness happening, Dusty, why don't you tell us a bit about your past with Mahjong? We heard about Corax yesterday, so how'd you get into the game? What made you find out about it? That kind of stuff.
Sure. I first I first encountered the Japanese mahjong when I was year 9, so that would have been about 10 years ago. I was watching Akagi and Saki at that time, as a lot of Japanese mahjong players would, and how they got into the game. At that time, only I was only very, very casually playing. The only websites back then were Osamuko and ReachMahjong.com. But I didn't really take it too seriously. I only played just maybe I've played maybe 100 games maybe in total on Tenho, for example. And then I only got seriously into Mahjong about 3 years ago. And since then, basically been playing Tenho. I've probably played about 700 games of East only, probably another 700 games of East South. And I made it to 6 dan, and I've been obsessed with it ever since.
How's your 6 dan journey going along? I do recall fondly that you were telling me about you were getting close and then you kind of got knocked back a bit by the very harsh fourth place penalty.
So currently I'm back down to 1,200 where I began. I went up a bit to about 1,900, then I came back down to about 1,200, and that's basically it. I haven't played that many games in 6 dan, so probably only about 100 in total, maybe. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep. So it looks like the other game will take a while, so we might as well just spectate this one since it is less than a minute away. So I have to hide this team thing because we will not be watching this team. But yeah, so what's this team? Who are we spectating this time around? Let me just hide this window capture and have a look. So we are instead watching the last Wise players, Khan for Fun, Powerpuff Boys, and AU and SW Wanderers. The Powerpuff Boys have not been doing particularly well over the season, so it'd be interesting to see if they decide to turn up the aggression. Say similarly with Count for Fun, they're currently sitting at 9th and 10th in the ladder, but we're still in the first half of the season, so maybe they'll continue to play like normal for now. Maybe not going for the greedier plays, but again, we won't know for sure until we get in.
Well, with a name like Con for Fun, you have to hope something's going to happen.
Yes. Which person is from Count for Fun? Need to double check. Poseidon. So if we don't see any Count for Funs from Poseidon, we know who to be extremely disappointed in.
I really want to see some good Dora bombs. Dora 8, please.
Uradora, the Urabomber.
Yeah.
Alright, going into East 1, we have Muginra in the East seat, Poseidon in the South seat, Maizuru in the West seat, and Miku 39 in the North seat. Sorry. Let me go look over there. So, looking around, what do we see? What do you guys, anything pop out immediately? It's just some
Well,
normal
the
hands.
hand we're looking at right now has plenty of options. You have the 2-3-4 Sanjuku. You even have a distant Chinitsu shift if you want to go that direction, but it's actually looking pretty good. The problem's going to be other people seem to be moving fast.
But not in a terrifically large amount of value, right? Like the Miku 39 seems to be going for more of a wash away hand with the Hak coupon.
Yeah, there's no door. You may be able to back into some Itsu, but who knows? It could be shifting to a Hanitsu for 3,900, maybe pick up the red 5, and you're good. Or that draw, which moves you to have a possible Itsu.
So if he pick up something like a 3-man or a 7-man by a miracle, do you reckon we'll see just take a 4-7 pin Tenpai and run away with it, or shift to that 3,900?
I think it depends where you are in the round. If it's drawn like now, I go for the greed. But if you wait another 4 or 5 turns, you're getting toward the middle of the round, you just want to finish things up.
So we do see Muginra here, Ishanten, for reach. I don't see anything else. Reach. Ura 3. Toyman.
Well, that's a pretty obvious commit to Hanitsu, not calling the 7 pin there.
Perhaps doesn't want to be stuck with the awkward shape, thinking that, like, even if he does call, it'll be a sentend for a very awkwardly weighted hand. Unfortunately, it does allow the Riichi from Maizuru for 3-6 pin, reach Tanyao Akadora. And this 6 pin is incredibly isolated here from Muginra. And it does deal into the Epats, giving Maizuru the golden nice hand of a Haneman, reach Epats Tanyao Dora. Okay, I feel very redundant saying it back. I forgot that on Madsol there is there are some characters who just call back your Yaku for you. So in that position, what are you guys' thoughts on pushing that hand? 6-pin was completely isolated, but it is, double. Oh, sorry, I think like single Musuji because there was a 9-pin there.
Well, you just don't have anything else in the hand. I'd like to fold. The only question is, can you fold? I thought there were a few better options, and if you can buy 3 or 4 turns, even as dealer, you're doing okay. The push there is a pretty straightforward, aggressive. I don't really see any way out. If you don't see a way out, of course you have to push it, but I think there are better options.
How about you, Nasty? What are your thoughts on it? Oh my gosh, early Ricci.
Yeah, let's yeah, I would have same as Korak. I would have folded with something a bit more safer there, especially when it was Masagi Suji on the 5-pin Rigi discard.
So for those who don't know, Matagi Suji is when you cut a shape something like a 5-5-6. So you cut the 5 out for the roundment, so a 5-5 So a 4-5-5 waiting on a 3-6 pin, or a 5-5-6 waiting on for a 4-7 pin. Suji around the Ricci tail can be a little more dodgy. Tuban
Wow, the
Pandora.
Dora
Ooh,
discard into the dealer Ichi, throwing the 2 and 3 so far.
brave man. Oh, I wonder if
Oh,
the
that's not a good
Oh, this
draw
might be a
because
bit
I think
dangerous.
the 8-9 so come out next.
Manages to avoid it. And Poseidon does pick up the 8 so for its Sumo. Reached Sumo Pinfu Dora. Nice proletariat hand, 2,600 all. And moves us along to East 2. So we already see something akin to a fight for first between 3 people, and one person sort of being left behind. Of course, if you have a pick up a hand like this, you're probably not being left behind for very long, but it's sort of boxing in the competition, so to speak, because you have.
Well, it's East 2. You're not that worried about it. No, what we need to pay attention to is we have someone showing 4 Dora and a pretty easily opened hand.
Reckon it's going to be a call city.
Oh, I'd instantly called that 3 pin.
For call the 3 pin, cut the, say, 9-mon, keep your Yaka high pairs.
Yep. Because when you have Mungon, there's no reason to get fancy. You're thinking speed, speed, speed.
And you're going to open this hand anyways, probably, so, why?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The only question is it going to be Yakuhai, or do you commit to the standard Tanyao? And with a paired up Hatsu, that makes your decision for you.
Maginra here also with a terrifying hand. Ishanten for Breach Tanya Aka, but this is an extremely wide Ishanten. What, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4 man, 5, 7, 5, 6 so? Something like that? 4, 5, 6, 7 so? Oh!
Something like that.
I don't know that I like that simply because of the 9 pin in the discard. There's decent chance of Furitan. If you do draw the 6, this hand is worth a fortune, but you may end up still fishing for a pair regardless.
And it does end up dropping the 7 pin. Electing to keep the 6 man, probably in hopes of a 6-8-8-8 shape. So I forgot what it's called. This thing over here.
Yeah, the 4, the 6, the 5, the 7, anything over there looks pretty good right now. Oh, but see, this is where you keep that 2.
That's a harsh backfire.
Because, yeah, that was Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Aka, instant Mangata. You really need that now.
Chi from Poseidon seems to be going for a faster hand, cutting the 8 so in place of a 7 so, perhaps not wanting to draw the 9 so.
Ooh, we have a Dama Tempai, a big one too.
Oh. Ricci from Maginra does manage to pick up the 7 man, so still having that reach Pinfu Dora. Reach Tanya Pinfu Dora, rather.
I just Sumagiri Ricci. There's no reason to mess around here. If you were waiting on a Genbutsu, then sure, but you're not.
Right.
I guess you could probably increase your shapes with something in but okay, yeah, here it comes.
Yep. So it seems like Miku39 is in agreement after drawing 1. Figures no one's going to cut the 2-5 pin again. 2-5 pin or 2 so against this Ricci anyways. Does end up drawing the 4 so. This is massive for Maginra. Puts them right back in the game. Reach Tanya Pivot to
Dora.
In Ura? No
Ura.
But a Mangun is still, huge. Huge. Bounces them right back.
That deep hole from 4th and all the way to 3rd. And not only that, it knocks down your other players where you're back within striking range of 1st. That's a really good hand to pick up.
Oh, are you talking about this hand or the previous hand?
The previous hand.
Yeah.
This hand is absolute garbage.
This hand seems to be very slow from everyone, does it not? Like, everyone's got to either awkwardly look at
this. A decent hand to move forward with. Kamicha has something that looks cheap. If a few things pair up, you'll get a good Richinomi, but there just isn't much there. Shimocha, yeah, that's terrible.
Mm. So, Dusty, whenever you pick up hands like this, what are your thoughts? Sort of, like, not knowing everyone else's hands, but you pick it up and it's slow with no value. You keeping honors? You trying to go for straight line and see if you can shut it down, or are you playing just like the split of like early game I'll play fast and then towards the mid game I'll keep one or two safe tiles.
If I don't really have any good shapes and I don't really have draw or anything, well, yeah, if I don't have any good shapes, generally I'll keep my honors. Yeah, you really want to, I would definitely want to, look to pong some honors, or at least to build some value. So keeping things around draw, keeping honors, stuff like that.
Mm.
So yeah, I would probably have played very similarly to how Muginra is playing right now.
Mm. Also,
He's left the 7 toe, he's left the 2 Yakuhai, yeah, something like that.
I was gonna
Well, the
say,
two doesn't really do any good here because two of them are out. The interesting discard to me is the 9 pin because that basically locks you into some sort of Cheetoy type shape. Maybe a Tanya shift, but that's still going to require cutting the 2/9 mod.
Yeah, that is correct. He did have some sort of chances on having like a Chanter or Jun Chan type shape, but yeah, I think after he drew like the fourth like pair, he just pretty much threw the 9 pin and just committed to this like Cheetoy type shape.
mm, I think interestingly, the thing that you were mentioning before was actually done directly by Miku39. They elected to cut the 1-2 pin over. Well, they cut the 1 pin, intending to cut the 1-2 pin over, say, a lone 5-so, thinking that the 5-so builds a better block and is right next to the Doro. That's a worry with these very sluggish kinds of hands. It's very hard to commentate. Everyone's sort of like sludging towards Tenpai here.
Well,
Ishan,
Yeah, the
Mugira
only way
is
this
actually
really opens
Shanten
if
for
you get a
Cheetoy,
Haku call.
so
yeah, but
and also like Poseidon has some sort of like a what do you call it, Sanshoku type hand with 3/2, 3/4. So even though it's slow, there's still some interesting looking hands.
I think
Oh, that
oh,
7/10's a really bad discard.
I think it was a
I'm
timeout.
Suwanko all of a sudden
Mm.
when I finally start making sets out of this because you can call one of the doors already come out. So if no one else has it, which we know it is, there's a good chance it comes.
Oh.
Ooh, you can't take the hell weight.
Oh.
So
So we see Tenpai for Miku39, reach Nami for a 5/8 man wait, and then immediate Tenpai for Muginro for reach Chitoi Dorodora, waiting for the 7-so.
right, and the
Uh,
7/2 would normally look really bad here, but we know all three of them are in the wall.
Mm.
yeah, 7-so is just uncommonly strong right now.
He also has a one chance as well, like the 2/6s in hand, and he saw the east, person discard the 6/0 as well, so it's not too bad.
Oh, it does deal the Aka
Oh, it
5
doesn't
mana,
help when you draw
unfortunately.
that.
Reach Aka any Ura? No, no Ura. Cheap hand, but more heartbreakingly is not being able to convert this hand into the destructive hand it was born to be. So that does give 2600 to Miku39 plus the extra 1000 points, moving us along to East 4. Man, this is a lightning fast Hanchan, isn't it?
Well, when you don't get the Renchon, that tends to happen. Now, this is a really interesting situation. Do you go for? Oh, I don't like that discard. Do you go for the Toy Toy? Do you go for the Honitsu? Well, it's going to depend on what you draw later. But I'd have cut the 2/8 on because they're floating and not really connected to anything. You can't really play aggressively. You're looking to call the Shaw on the pay here.
How about the 9-so?
Yeah, I agree with Korak on that one. He definitely should have left the Yakuhai there, especially when he has two drawers and yeah, you haven't really decided where you're going with this hand yet.
Are you going to
Yeah,
get
now
out?
it's hard to commit to Toy Toy. You have to take that pawn. And the question is, where's that last pair going to come from? Because calling the 8 pin is going to be basically impossible.
Are we going to have our first Haraka Tanki? It would
Well, I hope
be
so.
hard to imagine Poseidon cutting the north pair here, but it may happen because Poseidon may have a pair somewhere else and choose to go for a Tanyao shape. Maybe. Not likely, of course, but like there is a universe where this goes to Harakatanki. It'd be interesting to see how things go. Tonpon from Maizuru, not fearing the two open calls here. Going for Ton Aka. currently Ishan 10.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But you have to cut the 5 pin earlier there because you have to assume that it's going to be kept by anyone. And even if you draw the second, like here, that leaves you with the 5 pin pair and 8 pin pair, and you have to complete one of them at least. And it's just not a good feeling.
Oh, 2-man. That's a sinking feeling as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that one hurts.
Poseidon moving on very nicely to Shanten for Reach Dorodora. Miku 39 electing to keep the Hatsu over the 8-man. Makes sense in terms of the 8-man doesn't help entirely too much, but interesting choice nonetheless.
Senpai, but that's Furi 10 now, so we'll see how this ends up.
Furi 10 147-man for Ton Aka. When you're in these Furi 10 situations and you're offered the tile, say like the 8-man, do you guys take the Kanchan 7-man that can run off, or do you just take the Furi 10 and try to sumo?
Given how bad the 1-man is right now, yeah, I try and shift. What you're really looking to do here is pwn the 1 pin and have a Nobeton.
How about you, Nasty?
Yeah, I agree with that. So, but in normal circumstances, I'd probably I'd probably take a Furi 10 Summon Chan over the Kanchan instead. In
Well-
this circumstance, because he summons and 2,000 points.
Nice sumo from MyZero. Ton Aka for 500 1,000, moving us nice and cheaply onto South 1. So this is where goals start to align up a little bit, not too much obviously, because South Round is, still at least another 4 hands, so you've got plenty of space to move around, but maybe as the players you're considering your options. So yeah, what do you guys reckon in terms of maybe MyZero is thinking about maybe can I pass some hands cheaply? I guess that's not going to be a cheap hand, as they're currently given right now, as MyZero does have the Yakuhai pair in the south and the double Dora pair. But how do you feel as the other players in terms of going for greed, going for value, that kind of stuff?
Well, you're playing for position, but it's still South 1. If you lose your dealer turn in South Round, that's when you really start to panic. But for now, you just play your game mostly. If you can move up a position, great. Otherwise, there isn't that much to play with.
So, do you reckon the decision point comes later and perhaps maybe something like South 3, South 4?
It all depends. The issue here is everyone's kind of split up. It's a 6,000 jump to third, a 6,000 jump to second, and then another 6,000 jump to first. So you're looking to try and build that Mungun, but you have several hands to do it.
Yeah. So we did see a Chunpon from Muginra, prepping this 1,500 point hand. MyZero is still sitting there with the 2 Dora and the Yakuhai in the south. We know from our position, we see that there are no souths yet. So, wondering what we'll do. 7-so cut from Miku 39. Electing to keep the north pair. Perhaps as Yakuhai, maybe. Ishanten now, waiting for a 4-7 pin or a 3-6 man for a reach
The
Aka.
gate's gonna come out if it comes though, so it's not gonna matter.
Might be an interesting question if Mugen draws like a 3-so. Richie from MyZero for Reach Dorodora and does cut the pay into the Richie, which does feed Muginra here for 1,500 points. So that's a nice point increase and puts Muginra closer and closer to not dying. And this is a comeback hand.
I don't like throwing the Chun there. I'd have thrown the 8-so. You're looking for as many ways to open the hand as possible, and floater like that's. If it comes, great. If it doesn't, you're in trouble. Now, there's no necessary reason that anyone keeps the tone, but you may end up someone ends up using it as a pair, and then you're stuck waiting on it. Now, though, the hand's pretty straightforward. It should come out from Toyman in a turn or two.
So, are you of the philosophy that when you open your hand, you should try leave yourself 2 ways to get Yaku? I've heard that around.
If possible, yes. Your main goal is to keep your options open at all times.
So we did see as Korak had pointed out, the Ton was going to come out pretty quickly. Pon from Muginra on a 4-pin cut, choosing to keep the round Khan in the Kanchan.
I do not like the 4-pin cut there. You ideally want to be able to chi the 9-mon, but now you do that and you have nothing. I'd have cut the 2 or the 6 there.
Also keeping the 2 pairs, quote unquote, 1 pair in the 4-pin and 1 quotation mark pair in the 6-mon.
Right, and right now this looks to me like there are no pairs because presumably you want the option for an Anko of the Dora here.
Right, yeah. Have to see how this one pans out. Maybe Muginra may choose to go back on it if they draw something like a 1-so or a 6-pin. But, we won't really know. Miko 39 here, prepping up for a Honitsu. Oh, well, this is the decision, right?
7-so and just gone immediately for the Chinitsu because there isn't any value in this hand without it.
Perhaps at the time they were thinking that the 3/6 Mon weight could have value in sort of like a reach pin Fudora, maybe?
If you could get Itsu, sure, but you still have a couple things to get rid of, and just opening and speeding the hand up looks like a better option. But we have a Ricci now, and the old Ryankan Ricci shape, where don't trust Ricci Suji because that will happen.
It's a bit trickier as well, because the 7-so came out the turn before, so it almost looks more innocent. Tenpai for Muginra can choose to take the Kanchan 3-pin or the Kanchan 5-pin way. Does go for the Kanchan 5-pin, electing to cut a safer tile, because the 2-pin is Genbutsu, rather than the half Suji. Unfortunately for him, and only known to us, is that the 5-pin is very dead right now. There's like 1 left. And it would have... Oh! Oh no! 3-pin would have come out, unfortunately. No win for Muginra. I think that's a little bit just unfortunate. You can't really do much about that. Pon 9-so. So we're seeing this Chinitsu shove.
Oh, I don't like that 7-pin cut.
Cannot. Was it perhaps perceived safety? Not cutting the double Musuji? Tenpai for Miku 39, 4/7-so for Chinitsu.
Well, are you playing defensively or are you in 4th place with a dealer? Oh, no, I really hate that. He's just scared of the 4.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh, no!
oh,
Oh no! Oh,
oh,
it's a disaster! Oh, Will does
Oh,
get a
you
chance
missed it.
to be offered the chi, and we'll take it. Going for ending up in a free 10 4-pin Tunky.
He was so scared of the 4 that whole time.
Oh, and does allow Miku 39 to sumo the 4/7 for Chinitsu Nomi. I feel weird saying Nomi to a Chinitsu, but giving them the Mangan and dramatically shifting the terrain, launching Miku to a very healthy 2nd place. So we could sort of see there that oh my gosh, is that a Khan? Is that an Ankan of Haku that I see?
Yeah. Is Maizuru from Khan for Fun, or is that Poseidon? Who's from Khan for Fun?
I mean, Poseidon definitely did Khan for fun last time.
Well, you had to Khan anyway.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you're noting that before, Korak, that like there was a tremendous fear in cutting the 4-pin to the point where you reject larger weights. Do you ever have a scenario where you feel like that's okay, or is it because there's just too much value, so just screw it? We're single player at this point.
there's too much value. Your dealer in fourth place with Mongon, you have a good weight that's even on Genbutsu. So there's a very good chance the 8 pin comes out like next turn.
Mm. But couldn't you say that some of the players would pick up on a push and maybe fold more around, like? Or is that just not a worry
They
here?
might, but you have the same issue that everyone knows you're in a tough position, so you have to push anyway.
Right, right.
They don't even necessarily know your tempai through it. It there were so many ways that hand could have been won, and they all just didn't come. There was some passivity, and it ultimately really backfired.
Mm. Unfortunate for Mugenra. We do see a Chi from Maizuru on the Forso, putting them into Ishan 10. Wonder if when it goes back to their turn, will they Khan the Haku, or will they try to get a lower variance game?
It's
I
still
think they'll
quite hard
definitely
to
come the
like
Haku
Khan.
because it's it's the Oka Ari situation you really want to get first, and it's just 1-3 tough, so definitely they're gonna come. Wait, what? Wait, what?
Well,
Isn't
the
he
problem
Tenpai?
is if you do this and then Chi, you have to throw from that Khan.
Mm.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Is this another Chi toy? This is like the third Chi toy.
Oh, discredit the sun, so deserves to lose the hand for that alone.
Even removing the Sanso, it's they've removed the Suji trap. The Sanso is a Suji trap along the turn 3 6 cut. So I
Right.
wonder.
There were plenty of reasons that you'd wait on the 3 so here. But regardless, ooh, we have Tempai. Now the Do You Con into a Ricci of fourth place. This is one of those defines the type of player you are based in your decision here.
Does elect just to cut the Haku. Tuso does come from Miku 39, dealing into Reach Chitoi. Unfortunately, their hand was a little bit large, so kind of almost forced to deal in there. So no Ura, thankfully, for Miku 39, dealing into Reach Chitoi. Give it moving us along to South 3. So now is when the points start to matter, but also the points between every player is very thin. The top 3 places are no more than about 6,000 points from each other. And
We
Muginra's
have
not more
a
than
dynamic here.
15,000.
You have fourth place who's way behind, second and third who are right next to each other within striking range of first, and first is dealer. So if anyone hits a big sumo, it's going to be first place going into South Floor.
Mm. So because of that reason, do you perhaps not. I was thinking, is there any way or reason to try and pass on your dealership peacefully as my zero, or it's just the points too thin? You can't afford to play risky like that.
You can, but it's going to be a situation of wait for the later parts of the hand. You can't just wash away and give up on turn 5 or 6. But if you get to 13 or 14, sure, go ahead and pass your dealership.
Mm. Cheetoy Ishanten again. There's been an ungodly amount of Cheetoys here. This time though from my zero. Uh, there was a double nan pawn from Miku 39, so double nan Aka is a pretty big hand with the points so thin. However, that 5-so does look a little bit vulnerable. Probably not incredibly vulnerable. I would imagine they'd cut maybe the 2-3 man, electing to go for maybe San Shoku, double nan San Shoku Aka, even if the weight is a bit awkward. Five-pin cut from my zero, cementing the 2-pin. I don't think that really counts as a Sudi trap because it's hard to believe that someone would cut the 2-pin if my zero chose to reach you. Yeah, so that's actually.
Ooh, that is an amazing weight.
He just has to choose the correct one.
The 4-7 pin, right?
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? It's disappointing you can't turn this into a Sananko, but the hand just developed pretty straightforward. There wasn't anything you could do with this. Going to reach Shinobi, you're probably going to be fourth in S4, but there just wasn't any way to get value from that hand.
Tenpai for Maizuru does choose to Richi, waiting for the 2-man for a reach Chi Toy Dora 3. Oh my gosh. So that's Oya Haneman versus this Reach Nami. However, the Reach Nami has an exceedingly better weight, and the Oya Haneman's weight is dead.
Oh, you feel a bit of regret throwing that, not throwing the 4 and waiting on the Gimbutsu there, because now the shapes are basically locked up, and you moved away from Tempai. It's a defensive play, and this is hard.
Ooh.
You reach on the yeah.
Oh, the
That's a
5-man does come out from Maizuru. The only so Poseidon does have a few turns of safety. Okay, I was gonna say Poseidon has a few turns of safety, but if both players run out, will they trust the Suji on the 2-man? Ends up being an irrelevant question. There is a win for Muginra for Reach? Reach Ura 1, moving us along to South 4. So we are in South 4, and everyone is below 30k. Every
Yeah, this is an
point margin
interesting
is incredibly
situation.
thin.
The question is, if you're in fourth place here, do you just want a cheap fast hand and play dealer in West One?
There is no
There's no West.
there
Oh,
is no
there is no
West one.
West One. Then it's Mongun or bust, and this is not the hand you want. You could maybe pair up the Dora here, get something to call, maybe add Chanta, but it's just not a good situation.
Is it bad that I'm looking at this and considering Kokushi? It's a really
1, 2,
hopeless
3,
hand.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, no, I can't go Kokushi with that.
Let's see. Let's
You
look at
can
maybe
move
hands with a
toward
bit more hope here. Maizuru seems to have a faster looking hand. A few blocks in between, few awkward shapes as well, but not impossible. Haku pair from Miku 39, so maybe in the point margin they will choose to open up a bit lighter and hope to go Atazuke, or what's the English term for Atazuke?
I think they call it like a back in Japanese as well. So like, it doesn't quite make sense in English either. Like they say they have like a haku back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before, but fair enough. But yes, we'll have to go Atazuke or the Haku, and that is what they're chosen to do by cheating the 6-man.
So you're getting rid of your bad shape and your dealer in South 4, so there's nothing.
Ooh, 4 shots, con for fun. No,
Please
wrong
con.
team, sorry.
Please
Still. Elects to keep the con for now, not committing to cutting it, neither not cutting it. Nice 5-so draw from Poseidon. The question will be, yes, they do choose to cut the 1-man to maybe lock in more of a Tanyao kind of shape. Ridding themselves of the Itsu, however. So they are in, is that 2 Shanten? Or 3?
Yeah,
2 Shanten.
Yeah.
9-so comes out. So this Muginra's hand just makes me feel sad on the inside because it's been 8 turns and it still looks relatively bad for even an opening hand. So Maizuru has chosen to shift towards a Honetsu, so cutting the 2 4-so, keeping the ton and hoping to shut out that, sees it as the best way to open this hand and still win it in the end. Which makes sense.
When yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Yeah, I think when Miku manages to, when the next Haku's draw, Miku will throw the 2 at some point, and then Maizuru will actually pong it at this point, I believe, and get Tenpai maybe. Is he gonna pong?
Yep.
Yeah. And he takes Tenpai.
Takes Tenpai, which Tenpai does take the Ton Tanki Tenpai. I like that quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I like that too. Let's see, what is that is the 2600, so everything's in good position, but we have Tempai with the goods.
3 6-pin weight for Poseidon. Reach Tanya.
Tanya Dora.
Chi from Miku 39. Oh gosh. So what do we have again? We have Haku versus Ton versus 3 6-pin. Haku is 1 left in the wall, and there is almost no defense options here. For Miku 39 at least. Maizuru can still float around with it. And does draw the Ton. Giving them the Honetsu Nami? Hanetsunami win for 700, 1,300, thus cementing their first place and putting them over 30k, which is a nice bonus on top, but I'm sure the first place is more important to them.
Well, given the Yuma we're looking at, that's a big win.
That is
You always feel good locking up those extra 30 points.
So we do end the first Hanchan with Maizuru in first place, Miku 39 in second place, Poseidon in third place, and Muginra in fourth place. I wonder if we can get Maizuru up. I don't actually know who Maizuru is for the thing. Sorry, just give me a quick second. Oh, it's Mai. Okay. They seem to be offline right now, so I'm not quite sure. We may just look at the other. Oh, yes, no, Mai's here. Let me just give them the stream roll. There we go. And we'll go look at the log. Wait for them to come in here. Where is it? So, what were the... I remember, yes, this was a massive hit. I forgot to get rid of the tile effects. Hello, Mai.
Hello.
Congrats on your win.
Hello.
Congrats on
Thanks.
your win. Yeah, that was a nice Hanchan. It was sort of had these huge, very grenady hands, but then was able to weather the storm of just everything that was going on as things were going.
Yeah,
as things were happening.
I did get a Hanema from the start, which puts me in a good spot from the beginning. But then the score kind of went to like really close towards the end of the game. So I definitely got lucky in that South 4. Yeah.
So we have the stream up if we want to talk through a few things. So bring us through this sort of choice in an 8-pin cut here. Was it simply that the 9-pin didn't look very good and you wanted to make this like an open Tanyao kind of Tanyao Dora-san kind of thing?
So the reason I cut 8-pin here is because 2 of the 9 pins are already out and there's like some overlapping bouquet because the 6-pin kind of used by the 4-5 block. So I don't really see that 7-8 pin block too useful here. That's why I went for the 7-8 pin cut to kind of it also goes towards the Tanyao, so that's the reason behind it.
And then you sort of Ricci picking up this tile over here. Was there any consideration of Dharmaing this for a nice 5-2? Or are you thinking, nah, I want Mangan, like I'm not gonna...
Yeah, in this flat point situation, I think this is the Ricci for me, yeah.
Yep, completely fair enough. And then we sort of see a lot of action from the other players with not much, and then we led directly to, I believe, yes, this round where you had a lot of choices and you were picking up a lot of Khans. I remember the last time you also had the
yeah, I
Haku
got so many
Ankhan.
Ankans, but...
Actually, there's something I wanted to talk about here was your choice in not Khaning when you were in Ishanten. Where was it?
Which game was that? Is that in the Haku?
Yeah. So when you ended up in Tenpai over here, no, sorry, not here. It was this choice over here. Did you feel like you didn't want to bring out any more Dora into the situation, and so you didn't want to Khan, or do you want to wait until Tenpai first?
I think it's usually a bad idea to Khan when someone else has declared Ricci, which when you're not. So, and also that because I'm ahead, I don't really need the points. So I felt like not Khanning here is the better option.
Yeah, fair enough. And then the next hand was a very nice Honitsu choosing the Ton Tanki, thinking...
yeah, so that was actually super... I don't know, like when my Kamicha declared Ricci. So I pushed the 5-pin, which was extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
So if I got hit by the Ricci Ipats, then it will be probably 4th place for me. Yeah. So that was definitely lucky that I got away with this hand.
Did you think that like it was worth the risk in terms of the East was such a good weight that you didn't want to? You thought it was worth pushing this very live tile in?
Yeah, also because of tournament settings, it's not really about that last avoidance anymore. You want to go for first place. So I feel like keeping 10 pi here is probably the more higher EV, I guess. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, congrats on you win. Hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks.
Alrighty. So I'm not sure if the other game's still running, but we can definitely peek in and have a look if it is. Let's see. So we are in South 3, and Illegal is on their dealership and dying a little bit. So, looking around. Anything come to mind?
Dealer has a pretty good hand. Richi Pinfu, Dora Tui, Shanten. We have the Onko, possible San Onko from Wallaby.
This is your teammate, right, Nasty?
Yeah, this is my teammate. Yeah, so yeah, he does have some sort of like a chanter hand, possibly.
Oh.
But there is a reach that's declared from illegal, and I believe that's reach pin Fudora Dora for the dealer manga.
And the Ipats.
You mean Ipatsu, so that's at minimum Hanemon.
Oh, Jesus. 2 euro makes it a Baimon. Alright, never mind. Taking my job and just saying the Yaku, but that is an Oya Hanemon sending them right back from dead last to fighting for first place. Even second place overall. So, this is the power of the dealer position, thus giving Illegal a solid chance back into the game. And we see the emotes of we see the very wanted, the Totoro was wanting a lot of BM emotes to mind game everybody, and we do see that here. So we've gone from a game where 4th place was almost extremely clear to now it's anyone's game. Wallaby does have that nice lead, more than 10,000 points from each player. Paku skip from Visa.
I think this is still actually a very close game, just like the previous game as well, because the first place player who was Mai had a chance to sort of get thrown into last place as well. So I think the South 4 and the South 3 is going to be pretty exciting.
Second Haku offered to Visa does take the second Haku. Will they choose to go faster on the 5-mon or elect to lock in?
I do not like that 9 so cut. Obviously, it's an attempt for Dora, but I think 1 so makes a lot more sense. You're looking for something here. You have the Dora. You could also cut the 2-mon if you're really looking for greedy options.
Paypon from Paypon from IOSQ. I swear their name is different on Tenho. Sorry. Paypon from IOSQ putting them into Ishan 10 for Paydora. Illegal Lolly with the extremely dangerous hand again. Tanyao Dora 3. Maybe Arichi snuck in there. Maybe. And a 4-pin draw is absolutely amazing. Puts him to a very nice 2-shan 10. 2-shan 10? Yeah, 2-shan 10.
Yeah, it looks wider than it actually is, because you're going to have to do something with that 2-2-3. But if it comes and you can pwn it, that's no longer a concern, so...
5-pin offered to Visa. Do they choose to take it? They do. Cutting this 7-pin. IOSQ is offered 10 pi for a 3-6 pin, which they do take. Cutting the 2 or 5-mon, which will put Illegal Lolly into 10 pi. So now we have 3-mon 10 pi in one turn. Oh, sorry, not 3-mon. 2-mon 10 pi in one turn, and Ishan 10 for Visa. 4-7 so versus 3-6 pin, but one hand is a lot deadlier than the other. Let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4 4-7 so's versus 4-7 so's versus 4 3-6 pins. So the same amount of tiles in the wall for each player. And the 4 so is drawn by IOSQ and does deal into it. unfortunately dealing into Tanyao Dora 3 for the Mangan. Basically, now Illegal Ollie is firmly in, not firmly in first place, but firmly fighting for first place, and iOSQ is left without a dealership and very far from third.
Right. Fourth looks pretty secure. Third looks pretty secure. So you're looking to make something. And this is a nice comeback hand for Visa. You have a Junchan Sanshuku here.
Do you open for it personally? Either of you two?
For 3,900, it doesn't change anything. Not unless I have to. And yeah, if you pair up either of them, then it's still Chanta Sanshuku, which is good enough.
9-man draw will make it. It'll make that interesting Takame problem of one side. Say a 7-so comes. You have an interesting issue of, well, one side could be Pinfu, reach Pinfu, and the other side is reach Pinfu Junchan Sanshoku.
Right, and especially when you have two of the 9-mons, that means it's even less likely that it comes.
Do you guys instead perhaps take a Hatsutanki, which is a more guaranteed value?
Yes, I would do that
Yeah,
because
I
mean,
would.
even if you Dama 10 there, it's still Sanshoku Chanta, which is a manga anyway. So, yeah, definitely.
Ooh, now that's an interesting draw. Because now you may end up Tonki on the 9-so.
Or even like a Penchan 7-man for Ipeiko. Oh god.
Oh, here we
Or
go.
you could do that.
Oh, it does choose the Ricci.
Junchan
That
Ipeiko with the Suji trap. Oh, that's nasty.
that is nasty. We don't see any 7-mans out right now, but it's
And
hard.
we have a Chitoi Tempai as well.
Oh, Chitoi waiting for a 4-pin from Wallaby, and Illegal seems to be a bit stuck, still on 2 Shanten, but to see what happens. It will really depend on the next few draws. Does like to cut the 5-so, so Illegal is fully out of this hand, which is a
I
bit.
have definitely just thrown the tone there because you have a bunch of ways to make this move forward. Yeah, so see right there, you could throw the 8 if you wanted, and you have a Tempai, or you could just fold at that point. But throwing the Doro when you got the chance, I don't really like it.
So Wallaby here is very adamant on trying to snatch it with the 5-man drop into the situation. What do you guys reckon is the stopping tile for Wallaby? Or is there a stopping tile for Wallaby? Is this simply trying to take a cheap win?
There isn't, and you should reach the 4-pin and wait on the 1-mon right here because it's Suji to both of them, and it's a terminal.
What about you?
If you're going to push, you need to push.
If he does draw the 7-man, I have a feeling he's just gonna throw it at this point because like he hasn't reached it, for the last he's still about like 3
what did I
Suji
say?
by this point.
Oh,
So-
4-pin is dead.
Yeah, as I said, if you're going to do this, you have to go ahead and take that Richu waiting on the 1-man when it comes, and it came.
Wait, hold on a second. How are there still 3 7-mans in the dead wall? What the hell? Surely not.
That would be pretty disgusting.
It would be pretty.
Wait, where were they? No one had them. Oh my god.
Oh, wait. Hold on a
Oh
second.
wow! No one
Wait a
actually drew
second.
7-man.
Hold on. Okay, that's one 7-man,
no, there's
which
one.
There's one.
is big trouble because it may end up coming out. You would hope that a more safe tile does come out because Illegal's fully out of the hand, but the early 4-man, 8-pin does come out. And that's 2 7-man stuck in the dead wall. That's very unfortunate. So we do see 2-person Tempai, one from Wallaby and one from Visa, moving us along to South 4. Yeah, that's extremely unlucky for Visa. That was a beautifully set Suji trap that just never really coalesced.
Yeah, that's rough, but that's Mahjong. It's going to hurt when that happens.
So, looking around, what are the goals here? Illegal and Wallaby. Sorry, let me rephrase. Illegal's probably going to go for a faster hand. because a 1,000 hand will put them in first place, although their hand is not 1,000 points of value. Wallaby probably wants a bigger win to create quite a bit of a gap between themselves and illegal. Visa here does need a Mangan Sumo. Am I mistaken there?
Hanemon. Oh wait, there's 1900 in the pot. Yeah, Mangan Sumo's
Yeah,
good enough.
yeah. So they will need a Mangan Sumo, and they do have the shapings for it, and perhaps something like a Reach Sumo Sanshoku.
With Adora already, so yeah, that'd do it.
So that's the goals, and the main person of awkwardness is IOSQ because they need something dramatic. They guess the Hanuman Sumo will bring them out of last place, so they could hopefully.
I'd cut the 3,
Illegal's a
4, 5
Tenpai,
go
I
here.
think. No,
They do elect to take the Tenpai, however. So we do have an interesting scenario where if IOSQ say it parts Tsumos, it will put a legal lolly in first place. Am I? Yes, that's a 2,000 point gap. Yes, it will put them in first place. They do Sumo, but no Ura for IOSQ. So that does mean that we do have Wallaby in first place because the dealer penalty is not large enough. So a very thin first place for Wallaby, but a first place nonetheless. You take that kind of Uma no matter what. You got to be happy about that, don't you, Nosti?
I'm pretty happy about that. Although I'm not so happy about his Chitoi pushing about 4 Suji or probably like 8 Suji at that point because he pushed them in middle tiles there without reaching. So yeah.
Yep.
I'll have to mention that. I've mentioned on the stream, so he'll watch it and hopefully note that next time.
Yep, fair enough. And so that does end with Wallaby in first place, Illegal Lolly in second place, or illegal, I guess they're referred to here, Visa in third place, and IOSQ in last place. So we have finished at least the first round a tiny bit early. We can see in the chat there is a little bit of salt from Visa about the very stuck 7 mons in the dead wall. But as Korak says, that's Mahjong sometimes. Yeah. I can't think of anything. Sorry, my brain has temporarily lost me. Next game, we will be watching. I believe we're going to be watching the right side. So we'll be watching Khan for Fun, Flame Curse Evil Eye, the Powerpuff Boys, and AU NSW Wanderers. For simple reason that we actually haven't had Chewy on stream yet. So that is the plan for now.
Yeah, Chewy definitely wants to be on stream, so it'll be time for him to shine. So when he's on stream, so we'll see what happens.
We have to get the full Chewy experience because so far in the 4 weeks we've done this, we've only ever watched maybe South 3 or South 4 for Chewy, and definitely only like third places. But obviously that's not everything, so it's just like what we've caught the tail end of. Yes. Also, Korak, we've been inundated with many compliments about your voice. Very sports commentator-esque. Any responses to your fans?
Let's keep going.
Fair enough. Yes. So, sorry, we've got to stall. We've got to wait 5 minutes. So we've got to come up with a 5-minute conversation that lasts to the end. It does not necessarily have to be about Mahjong. Normally, I just talk to SBT about random stuff. So if you guys want random stuff, that's I can do that. Or if anyone had anything to discuss about the ARMA League in general, any personal thoughts, Nosti?
It's going pretty well. I'm just well, like we've had quite a lot of viewers, and yeah, like what can I say? Like it's just a really good league. Like there's so many people participating. It's partially also due to the fact that everyone's in lockdown at the moment. Yeah, but yeah, it's really good. And I'm hoping that other places, not just here in Australia, would also do their own country league, such as in America maybe. This is a cue for Korak to perhaps add something.
Well, the North American scene has recently developed pretty widely with Reach Out, which the Adelaide Club is also a member of. But we've been doing league standings, a bunch of clubs. Most of them started out through North America, slowly expanded. We now have Portugal, a couple clubs from Japan, Russia, and we do monthly games and tournaments every other Monday.
Mm. Yeah, I've been a part of that, but I've been taking a bit of a break because I've been a bit beaten on for the first few weeks, and I also know for you, Korak, that there was
Oh,
a
I got absolutely savaged the beginning of this month. And it wasn't just in reach out. I was losing 4 player ranked. I was losing 3 player ranked. I was losing casual. I was getting beaten down in Ippon on a Smurf. I was losing in against AIs on my phone. And I said, okay, no, I just stopped and didn't log on for like 3 straight days because I was sick of it.
just let yourself take a massive break, a big breath, and sort of just come back not tilted.
Yeah, basically. My reach out stats at the time, I'd only played like 4 days, and my overall score was, I think, minus 270.
Mm.
So I took the time off, came back, and got 320 in the next 4 days after I came back. So
Oh.
everything's back as it should be.
Everything's back to the soup. Should be Korak back on top of the things.
Well, at least in positive. So that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, yeah, completely fair enough. I would do encourage anyone in the audience who hasn't joined reaching out. If you have a club that you do wish to, it is a very open, very nice community, very nice setup. They've got this nice bot automated games. I'm specifically calling out the Australians because it's just me and SBT in this league so far. But yeah, that I think that would be good. I did think there's also the Russian tournament on today. I know that that's been a really nice thing. The I don't. I'm not sure. Nihisil, is that their name? There's like that Russian team tournament, I believe. Was that on next week? I can't remember.
I don't know. I know they've been doing a lot of these tournaments, recently. So
Yeah, Russia's been pretty active in the scene for a while. You can, if you're ever interested and look at their tournaments, their players, Mahjong.click has a really good resource. They take track all their players, their Tenho stats, their tournament stats. It's a really nice site, so you should check it out if you haven't.
Mm, mm, mm.
and we should also plug out for Ricci.out.com because that will be the site for Ricci Out. So Ricci, RIICHI out.com.
Mm.
So
I
that's where you
will.
can
I
go.
will send a link through on our Twitter. That's a shameless plug as well. I'll just send a whole bunch of links out after we start the next game, just so that it's not just blank. But we'll put in some of the yeah, we'll plug some of the links that we were talking about. There's some really awesome communities. As always, the public Mahjong Discord is really good. For where our boy Korak here is an admin, but very welcoming. Sort of, asking players, uh, sorry, just giving players a chance to talk about improvements, talk about statistics, or even just sharing salty Mahjong moments together. So there's a lot of really nice ways to get out there and meet a bunch of people. You know, there it's we're all indoors anyway, so we might as well be talking. Might as well be going across the borders and just playing together.
Right, and especially in these times, since you are stuck at home, this is a great time to read up, improve, really get your game on another level.
Mm-mm. I know that there is a small little race between Muller and Nosti for Ho-Oh, so I'm looking forward to that one.
Hopefully, it turns out better than the race between me and Rusty for Ho-Oh.
Wait, when was this? Like, how long ago was this?
This was about a year and a half back when I made it. I was like, I'm kind of close. And Rusty's like, I'm kind of close. Let's go ahead and race. And then I got it in like a week and a half, and he's still 6 down.
Unfortunate for Rusty. So
Well,
we,
he's been dealing with a bunch of live stuff because he had a kid.
yeah,
So
yeah.
congratulations.
So we are in our second Hanchan of the day. We do have Zoo King 101 in East Seat, AKTK in the South Seat, Miku 39 again in the West Seat, and Chewy. Chewy is their other Discord name in the North Seat. Very nice pair, double ton pair pickup here for Zoo King. Would the 7-pin is slightly isolated, but I don't see any desire for them to get rid of it because it does dramatically increase their value from 2,900 to 5,800.
Well, with that 7-man draw, all of a sudden you're thinking Honitsu, so not necessarily. I'm going to cut the 7-8 so next and see what happens, but there are a lot of really good ways for this hand to move. I pwn that instantly and move
Oh,
on.
skip on the pun and a cut on the 1-man, so no desire to go for the Hanetsu at all for Zuking.
Yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a mistake there. Definitely, you should have been looking for a Hoyinsu there, especially when you have two Yaku, well, one Yaku High plus a North as well pair, so you should definitely be going for Hoyinsu there.
Well, yeah, the tone's the double Yaku, so you're already in Mangan at that place. So there are a bunch of things that are really easy to call, and you end up with presumably a 6-9 man weight, which is going to look really good.
Chewy did take the early Haku Pon, going for this Haku Dora Dora. However, they will need to build the structure around the 7-pin before they can use the second Dora. Miku 39 here, electing cut the 6-man, keeping the Chitoi door open, but like a bit ajar, I suppose, because there is a lot of there's a 1-2-3 side which you wouldn't really want to cut unless you're forced to. So this is sort of like the decision point for Miku 39. Do they continue this Chitoi route, and they do decide to continue the Chitoi route, cutting the 3-so and presumably the 2 or 1-so next.
You could have cut the 5-pin there and basically waited to see what happens. If you draw the 8-man, you add a Peiko and can move from there. I don't like the 3-so cut, and not just because it's 3-so.
It's such an in-joke in the public mod of Discord. I feel so bad whenever we drop it. Because the explanation doesn't make sense either.
Well, you're going to tell us. I don't know what this in-joke is.
Okay. So, the very brief way of saying it is that one of our very active players, one of very active Discorders, Tips and Tricks, he had a bunch of friends who apparently noticed that the 3-so kept dealing into tiles, and that would be its own kind of thing. Oh, that's a very nice Sumo from Chewy. Haku Dora Dora for 1,000, 2,000. That's very, very nice. And so that would be like its own thing, and that'd be whatever. But apparently, Tips had found some resource, some mahjong resource, which said that 3-so was the most, like the 3-so was the tile that dealt in the most. And so from then on, he kept like pointing. He has a huge folder full of hands where the 3-so dealt in when it shouldn't have. And I've definitely stacked on top and just enjoyed having fun with the 3-so. And it's developed a life of its own, and now we worship the cult of 3-so. That's about it.
Where do you keep these folders? Where's this folder of 3-so? Is it on Arcturus?
I have no idea. I would actually have to ask Tips and get back to you on that one.
It kind of does make sense.
Phil okay, this is a very in reference as well. Phil says you can win lots of Chihos with 3-so because Miku 39 has won a Chiho on 3-so as well. And I was there in real life for it. It was a 3-so Tunky. So I'm not saying that things are how they are, but you know, there may be a bunch of occult things happening with the 3-so.
Exactly.
So, we see a non-open from Miku 39, going for that wash away hand. Bit awkward on the 3-pin, but the hand probably... I don't remember what the hand was before, but they probably thought that the hand wouldn't get anywhere without having to pawn it.
Well, also, there just wasn't that much value here, so there wasn't a real decision. It was move on, try and make something out of this. You have some good shapes, maybe pwn something, but now you have the option of going Honitsu, but it's getting kind of late. You have to draw something with that isolated one pin, so you just take the good shape, and everyone already suspects this is going to be a 3900 if they deal the 6-9 pin.
Mm-mm. So, do you reckon this could induce a fold from anybody? So maybe a player, maybe like Chewy's position, where to move on, they would have to cut this live Hatsu and this live Haku. So
I'm not so much worried about the Hatsu, but you can't throw Dora, and you're going to have to not only throw that, but you're also likely going to have to throw that 8 pin. So most likely, I'm going to play it a lot more defensively with someone showing 3 calls.
of course we know that it's cheap, but you can't really know that in their position. Oh my god, is
Oh
this?
goodness, no, not with everything that's come out. It's a straightforward Honitsu discard pile, and well, now they're going to find out.
It's dirt cheap. And this is again the power of the wash away hand. It washes away this Zoking. I don't know. Maybe Shosangan Dora. But yes, so that maybe Toy Toy as well, and that moves us along to East 3. Man, very very fast Hanchans so far, 2 hands. Of course, plenty of Renchans to be potentially to be had, but we don't actually know that for sure. Looking around, we have a very nice blocks from Zoking. We have a 556, 5566, and a 678 completion. So very nice double Dora hand.
Toyman has really good shapes, but it looks pretty cheap. Presumably call the tune and make another washaway hand, even as your dealer.
Yes, and that will be their choice or their decision. Chewy over here. I think cut the 2-man over the isolated honors. I believe Chewy has mentioned this before that they prefer to keep honors whenever they can and sort of see how their hand progresses. So perhaps Chewy doesn't imagine they'll ever use the 2-man and so wants to keep the honor as a safer tile. I know that you're an advocate of just, if it's the first row, just dig in and honors be damned if they're not useful.
Yeah, it's a lone tile. The only thing it connects to are 3 other tiles in the wall, compared to say a floating 2, which connects to all the 1s, the remaining 2s, all the 3s, all the 4s. So you're giving up 3 Ukiiri for a possibility of 15. To me, that's not really a choice.
Early Tenpai for Miku 39, 3-pin looking a little bit vulnerable here from Zoking, but won't really hurt the bank too much if they deal in. 4th 5 so from Chewy. Will they decide to cut the Nan here, or they try to move around with, say, a 7 so cut?
I think the interesting discard here was the Dora a couple turns ago, and that's a hard backfire, because there were plenty of ways to move this towards. As you can see, it looks kind of like Chi Toy at this point. But even if it wasn't, you want to try and connect something with that extra Dora. You draw a 7, you draw a 6, you have Ipeco Dora 2, you draw a 9, you keep the other Dora. It's just not a tile I want to get rid of. But here's the sumo, and the washaway hand finishes.
So nice washaway hand from Miku 39, shutting down this sort of lots of Dora nonsense from Zoking, and moving us along to East 3-1. I like the mentality. That's not the right word. It's the you wash away hands until your hand is washes everyone into
It's
the
worth
river.
fighting for, yes.
So, Zoking. Ooh, that's an amazing hand from Zoking. 2 Dora.
Richi, Pinfu, Dora 2. Can't ask for anything more than that, especially in a starting hand.
Ooh, that 5-man is amazing. Will they like to cut the 2-pin? Oh, I was just curious if you cut the 2-pin and lock in that 3-pin pair.
I'd normally go ahead and throw the 7-mon. It's nice to connect and maybe get a Sun Mention, but what happens if you draw another Dora? You have a 2-3-3-3 shape.
Right, yeah, that makes
Dora.
sense. So we have Chewy here with the the Ton pair, perhaps shaping up to something like a Chanta, Ton Chanta maybe, Ton Chanta Dora. With that first turn 4-pin cut, it's pretty evident that they're trying to dig in on their hand to something along the sides of Chanta to get more value from it. Hatsupon from Miku39, again going for a wash-away hand if they can get the Aka 5-pin.
Well, it's a situation that the hand just isn't going to finish without calling aggressively. You look at this, there's that really annoying shape with basically needs the 7 and the 4, and it's not going to complete anyway because we have that Ricci Pinfu Dora 2 hand on a really nice weight.
Yeah, it's a 6-9, so it's incredibly good. There's still 6-9 so's in the wall. Something
Well,
ridiculous.
not only that, but the pawn gives no information. 3 of those discards were honors. The only things at this point that look safe is 7 mon, 2 pin, 2 so, and maybe 8-9 mon. Everything else is a guess at this point.
Well, 9 mon is confirmed there, but you are referring to something called Sotogawa, are you not?
Yeah, unless you are breaking something specifically to set up a trap, you're going to normally discard things that aren't part of your 5 blocks first.
And so, like a 7-mon, like you can't imagine a scenario where, like, turn 1 you cut 7-7, you have 7-7-8, you cut 7-mon so early. So
the only time that's going to happen is if you already have your 5 blocks locked up and you're just cutting it to keep your weaker blocks better off. But that's so rare, especially with an early Ricci like this.
we saw that AKTK was offered that Ishan 10, but elects not to cut a 2-mon into this pond and goes for the 5 so 4 so cut. Against the non-dealer Ricci, especially an Ishan 10, I guess this is the more conservative line to take. Not saying conservative like it's a bad thing, just like a
Yeah, no, I don't mind it. It's still a really annoying shape, and with that 4-4-5-5 shape, you have to connect the 3-6 twice, and it's getting late.
So how are all the 6-9 so's towards the end of the wall? Oh my gosh! All right, never mind.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Sumo 4 Zoking reached Sumo Pin for Dorodora. Any Ura? One Ura would be massive. No Ura, unfortunately. But, you know, a Mangan, we'll take it. We'll take it. That was nice Sumo for Zoking, putting them in first place and moving us along to East 4. So, East 4. We can see Chewy just emoting as much as possible.
Well, he has a good hand, so he has every reason to emote.
Yeah, that is some good shapes. There may not be any value yet, but maybe you can add Ipeiko, Sanshuku, although that's really far away, a 3-4-5. But yeah, it looks pretty fast. And now you add another Dora. If you can make that your pair, you have a really big hand, especially as dealer.
I was actually wondering. Yeah, no, never mind. That does make sense. I was wondering if Zoking here, if offered the Hakupon, would take it. Hand looks a bit cheap, but will they go for the wash away, or will they decide to keep closed and try to go for higher things?
See, the rule on calling is don't call if it's cheap and slow. Now, that 2-pin makes things much different, but without it, this hand has so many bad blocks that honestly giving up on it isn't a bad choice. Now, on the other hand, you have an incentive to where you can think about taking that pawn and throwing 7 on. Because you're just Ishan and you can call a whole bunch of stuff.
Does I like to cut the 8-pin instead of the 7-mon? Maybe not wanting to backfire on a 9-mon draw?
Yeah, it's obviously an attempt to wait for a Dora, but that's the thing about the washaway hands. You need to be fast with them, because if you aren't fast with them, then you have less tiles to defend with when other people eventually do complete their parts.
9-mon does come out from Chewy. 8-pin doesn't seem like it would be useful. Perhaps this is a Sakigiri, wanting to get out the 9-man before Zoking is waiting on the 9-man.
Yeah, no, that's the move here. The shapes at this point look pretty well defined. You already have the pair with the 3-mon. It was a pure Sakigiri.
Ooh.
Oh, and now that 9-pin hurts, but you can't
Oof.
do anything about that.
Yeah. So Zoking is offered a faster Tenpai, but doesn't elect to take it. It doesn't want to cut the 7-man for the same reason of wanting to use the 9-man Dora.
Yeah, I really dislike this one, especially when the 4-man just came out. You're not going to get a better chance to get rid of it. And see, there's the backfire earlier from cutting the 8. Because you could have called the 7 2 turns ago. You'd be in Tenpai. You'd have lots of different options here, whether you want to go on the 6 or the 4-5.
So yeah, we were having a discussion about this yesterday with Korak. Oh, nice Tenpai, also 6-pin for Hakunami with Korak yesterday, and I wanted you, Nosti, to weigh in on your thoughts here. The idea of a lot of the Australian players seem to want to build their. Oh, that's a unfortunate run for Zoking, moving us on to South 1. But this idea that a lot of the Australian players seem to not want to ever be on a bad weight, and so are willing to go back a Shanten for maybe a tile that gives them a more improved weight. In talking to Korak about it, he said that he likes the earlier Tenpais faster because you can be a bit easy to read sometimes if you just purely wait for two-sided weights, but also getting that early Tenpai is incredibly valuable, even if it's not a great weight sometimes. I want to know if you had any thoughts about that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, you definitely want the early Tenpai as soon as possible. I've never reached Hall, but basically, when you're in Tenpai, like I just heard, even though if it's a Kanjo or Pencha, you just reach immediately. I think in Tokujo, especially maybe at like 6th dan with the negative rates, maybe you don't want to take that, like really bad like Ricci, but but I'm a player who always Ricci's like bad weights, 1,300 weights, I'll even Ricci that. So I'm all for the early Tenpai first to Ricci like concept.
Don't you? But is there maybe? Because a part of the reason why Ricci is so strong is its ability to cause people to fold. Do you ever adjust your playstyle if you're playing against players who perhaps just don't fold? Do you try to maybe go for better hands with better value if you don't feel like the Ricci won't achieve like one of the bigger things of trying to force everyone's hand to be slower?
I look more at the point situation really. So rather than the actual play itself. I mean, if it's like South 2 and I'm Tenpai with like 1,200 on turn 6, then probably I won't be actually reaching. But like, it really depends on the point situation rather than the players themselves.
See a
We have
very
a
nice Ricci
Dora
from
too. Ooh,
AK2K,
that's
yeah.
a really amazing draw because now we may have a dealer Ricci Pinfu, Tanyao, Sanshuku Dora Ishanten.
Be quite entertaining if King draws the 4-man and they end up on the same weight. So Tamahane would actually give priority to Zoking if somebody dealt in. Have to see what happens though.
Oh, never mind. It wouldn't happen. I was wondering if the 2 or the 5-pin actually came out, would you cheat it? But it would never happen because AKTK would just win.
Yep.
You're right. The 4-man coming out would be a little more interesting.
So we do have Tenpai here. 6-pin is cut from Chewy, and Chewy does elect a Dharma, and the 4-man does come.
Nice.
Dude, we have 3 people Tenpai for 2 5-pin. So we do have.
This is when you have the Tenho style triple rotoboard. Ha! Everyone fell for it.
So if you're Chewy and you draw something like an 8, so. Oh wait, no. I'm trying to imagine what the worst case scenarios are. And a 5-pin Sumo 4 AKTK, that is massive. Reach Sumo Pinfu Dora. No Ura, but Mangan, you'll take it there, especially because this hand was absolutely deadly. So, nice win for AKTK, and the points are just incredibly flat. And no one's above 30k, and no one is more than 10k from first place. So again, we have this like a fight for thin point margins.
I actually
It's
really
a
like
really
so
interesting hand. You have all sorts of toy options. You have Honitsu options, possible both, cheat toy. I'm really interested to see how this hand plays out.
yeah, I was just about to mention that as well. I was like, I really like Zoking's hand. Yeah, there's just so many possibilities here, and I really like the one of my favorite hands is actually Honitsu. So, um, well, this sort of type of Honitsu toy type hand is just a really interesting hand. But never mind, Miku has already reached on a 3-6 pin.
For reach
With
Dora.
Tudora.
Yeah. That you really can't ask for much better, taking that very early reachy for reach Dora. It's about as good as it gets.
Especially when you're in fourth and first place is dealer, so a sumo will be first place.
I can't yes. So I was gonna say, like, is Chewy in a bit of danger here because that 3-pin is very vulnerable, and not saying that it's a good push on the 3-pin, but I guess it doesn't matter now. But when it's so early on and you see so few tiles, people can argue that you might as well push hands.
Oh, he's actually got the. Oh no, it's not the high one.
Yep. So reached sumo Dora. One Ura, but that doesn't matter. Giving the Mangan sumo and putting everything even closer together. So yeah, now everyone is not more than 4,000 from each
Ooh,
other.
look at AKTK's hand. That is amazing.
We'll take the fast Hakupon going for that Honitsu, maybe Dora, or maybe just Yaku Honitsu. 8,000 would quite, like, it would be a very big lead going into South 4, especially if they can sumo it. So these 3-pins and 6-pins, do you ever consider Shibori? So Shibori is for those who don't know, Shibari is when you start trying to suppress the player on your right's ability to call tiles. So if you can see a Honitsu, you try to hold back the suit that they're going for, so that they cannot progress their hand. As Zoking here, do you ever start considering Shibori at any point? Maybe not with this hand, because the hand has actually progressed far enough, but say the blocks were more awkward. Would you guys consider it, or do you think because the first place and because I'd like to make a hand, be damned at all?
It's going to depend on where it is, how many things are open, how obvious the Honitsu is. Because as of right now, there's no guarantee it's Honitsu. We just saw a couple of Yakuhai calls. It could easily something in upper so at this point. It could be something like a 2-5 mon shape with an Aka somewhere. So as of right now, you just play it straightforward.
Mm.
As you get more information, you adjust to the table. Like right now, with 3 calls and an overflow in pin, all of a sudden anything 4-7 especially, but 6-9 looks bad, 1-4 looks bad.
It
You
even
just
like
don't
kind of
know
looks like
anything.
Daisangen, so the Chuns from Miku 39 and probably
Yeah,
Zoking
you
don't
shut
look.
down immediately right now. This is the situation. You do not throw the tune here. The interesting situation will be, does the dealer throw it?
9-pin draw for Zoking. They're thinking about it. No, the Druid end up cutting the 1 man. 3 6-pins for Miku 39. Wondering if they will try to force their hand to K10 waiting on the Chun. Or if they will even, like, say if they draw like 8 so then a 3 so, will they just cut the 6 man? Or they cut the Chun anyways? Oh, they are approaching the judgment times, because an 8 so would put them into a very nice tempi, but you'd have to get rid of the Chun in this kind of very, very scary situation. What do you guys think I don't actually know because I don't have HMS up, and I don't know if HMS calculates UMA as well, but like, what do you think the expected value here is? Say Miku 39 gets offered that 8, so do you pawn it and cut the churn? Because if you maintain a first place, it's going to be really important.
Considering the size of the UMA, I'm fine even if I drop to second, but if you end up dealing it, you have instantly guaranteed fourth. I'm going to play this a little more defensively, but it doesn't matter because here's the Mongon.
Nice Sumo from AKTK. Mongun Sumo putting them into first place, moving into South 4, and hitting first place with that Oyakaburi. Now AKTK is in the driver's seat. It's on Chewy to win a few hands, and what are the goals for each of the other players? Well, Miku 39 is less than 10,000 away, which puts them in a Mongun Sumo range. King is more than 10,000, less than 12,000, so they will need a Hanuman Sumo, but a Mongun direct hit will be okay.
Zerking doesn't really have to think that hard about it. You're just playing for second at this point. If something develops, great, but you're so far away. Ideally, this is some sort of Sanshoku, maybe Junchan, although that 6-7 pin looks annoying.
Ooh.
I do not like that one Sokan. I hate it. That was really the best way to get value. And now that one so draw wouldn't have necessarily helped the shapes, but it would have added a possibly Keiko. Because you're looking for anything beyond just the straightforward Richinomi.
AKTK here has also been given a very nice sort of wash away to first place hand. With the Chun pair, it allowed them to go for an open Yaku rather than being forced into reaching to try and end the deal. And that 3-so has got a sting a little bit for Zoking.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're waiting for with this type of shape. But discarding the 1-so, yes, you want to be able to do Tanya, maybe call a 5-pin. But now you've basically locked yourself into some really annoying shapes. And then this discard, the 2-2-3 looks so bad here. You're going to have to probably end up connecting something to the 6-mon. And the hand just feels like a complete debacle at this point.
I think just especially just losing that Sanshoku is very devastating, because that is like a very easy way to get the Hanuman. Easy being a very liberal term of the use easy, but Hanumans aren't supposed to be easy anyways. So Chunpon...
It's at least within your vision. Now that's a really good draw. You got the 3-so here, and you're just looking for a Ricci Pinfu, try and lock up second place. What are the tiebreaker rules now that I look at the board?
Split Uma.
Ooh, so ideally you sumo it, but you take the 2,000 hope for it anyway. Regardless, the hand's pretty straightforward. Now, if you end up making an Anko here and have the Richinomi, then you're in a really interesting situation.
And now
Just like it. You have to Ricci this. It doesn't matter the dealer did anything, but that extra 1,000 from the dealer means if he deals in, you've gotten the second place locked up anyway.
So we have 5-8 Mon versus 6-9 pin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 6-9 pins left versus 2, 3, 4 now, but 4 5-8 Mon, so slightly favored towards Zoking, but only marginally. What's the value? Is that a reach Pinfu on our left here?
Yeah, it's only a reach Pinfu.
That 4-mine is a bit of a harsh one. Zoking would have liked that for the Tanyao, but I don't think you can stop here, unfortunately. So,
goodness no! Especially after the Ricci stick comes in. Now, even if he deals in, you've gotten it secured.
Ooh, there's only one weight left for Chewy, unfortunately. I think. Am I counting that correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there's only one 6-9 pin left versus the 4 5-8 Mons. But we did see 2 7 Mons buried in the dead wall earlier today, so nothing's impossible. Does sumo it for Zoking, and we'll take it. Does not hit any Ura, unfortunately, so... Oh, so close.
There's nothing wrong with that. You take your +10 Uma instead of the -10. You feel really good about this game. You only ended up +500 in the close match. You got your second, and everything looks good right now.
So that does end our second Hanchan of the evening. AKTK in first place, Zoking in second, Miku 39 in third place, and Chewy in last place. Can we pull up your teammate, AKTK, for an interview? And Nosti, if you don't mind, I would like you to take the interview front if you have any questions for him. Question your teammate for me.
Hello,
Yeah,
can you hear
sure.
me?
Hello?
Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Cool. It
Congrats on
works
your
this
win.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, well, I don't have control of the game, so yeah, if you wanna, if Jay, if you wanna move to the games which were interesting.
Let's have a look. AK2K. There was this very big sumo over here.
Yeah.
Oh, but
I
that's
think
very
the East round was like very quiet for me. I didn't even have a single tempai during East round, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, but the South round is pretty good.
Seems like just a lot of very procedural kind of pushes. You just sort of take those and move on. The showing Daisangan over here actually put a lot of pressure on the other teammates. Not that you could see it,
Yeah.
but the player on your right actually chucked out like almost an entire meld because they drew a chun and they couldn't cut it into you.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Nah, go on, nothing.
oh, right, yeah. So, well, actually, yeah. So I wasn't actually gonna look at this hand, but I was looking at the South Four hand. When the
South
two
four.
Richis came in a row, like, what was your like thought decision at this point? Because you basically had no Genbutsu against both these Richis. So why'd you choose to perhaps throw the 9-man instead of like the 6, so which is also a possibility? Like, what was your thought process here?
So, well, the only thought I had is like it's better to deal into Zoking instead of Chewy, who's the dealer. If I did deal into Zoking, then I probably still first, but just below 30k, and the game can still go on. So, I mean, if you have to choose between these two, then yeah, because my character is a little bit safe to Chewy. That's what my opinion.
Understood.
Yep. So sort
And
of just
after that,
after that.
yeah, and after that you just drew safe tiles, so there was not really
Yeah.
that much anything interesting after that.
Mm.
So how do you feel like our team managed to get 2 games, wins in a row? So what's your hopes on sort of
Well, I just hope you can get a third this night.
Okay, I see. So not the last, right?
Yeah. Still have one game to go. Anyway.
Yep. Done
And
by.
any other games you want to commentate on, or anything else interesting you saw in this game that you thought was something of note?
Not really. I mean, if you don't have any more questions.
No. I thought it was just a very like you folded when you had to, and when you got the hands that you were given, you sort of sought for blood, which is always really nice to see.
Yeah.
Yep. Congrats on your win.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Alrighty.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see. Is the other game still running? Yes, it is. All right. Let's check in on this one. All right. Where are we? South. Oh my God. Are we only at South 1? What happened?
I think this game started a bit
Oh,
late,
did it
if
start
not
later? All
before.
right. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow,
I thought.
what a draw. Look at that Ricci, Pinfu, Dora 3, or just the Dama looks fine.
Sharp
wow.
Oh, no. Oh, Flurry 10. That was the reason.
Ah, yes. Yeah, actually, do you take those furry 10s? Do you take a furry 10 Pinfu, or do you go for the sharp on the harder to win? Oh, okay, never mind. Genji just takes a nice Dharma win off of I forgot who the tournament player was. Who is this? This is Veggie, I think. No.
Toyman is 5.
5. All right, thank you. Sorry. It's very unhelpful when they have different names on different platforms. Anyways, yeah. So like in Shizuko's position, she had the choice between the Furry 10 Pinfu or the Shabo on a very hard to get 4-so 9-pin. What are y'all guys? Do you guys still take the Derailman or take a slightly worse Shabo or?
I think you have to take the Shampoo. Sure, the 9-pin's not going to come out, but if you do draw it, it's going to be a ton of value. And the 2-5 didn't come out. The goal here is to scare off other people. If they're going to push something, then ideally, you don't have anything to worry about, but you just don't want to put yourself in that type of position. The question's going to really be to me, what caused the Tuso to get dropped in the first place?
We actually
Yeah.
have quite a few instances of people who can get stuck in a bit of an awkward position. So what happens is they end up drawing, like, say they have a 2-4, so they start cutting the 2 so and they draw the 3 so, and they keep the Rangman because they think they can fill it out later. I can't speak for Cheese to Go, obviously. Like, I don't actually know for sure, but it's speculation. Like, we weren't there, we can't actually know.
Right. No, you have to just keep the shampoo in there in case someone's dumb enough to throw Dora. You have to punish them. If you take the Furiton Ricci, you're banking on everyone folding, and I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen. As you saw, there were 2 other people Tempai, I think. So, it's not a good situation either way. The real decision was early in the hand when that Tuso got cut, and I don't think we have enough information to say anything about it.
Yep. Okay, so we
Ooh.
do have 2 Cheese from 5 here, going for that Tanyao wash away, I guess. Bit of an awkward shape for wash away, but not too awkward. Like, Ramen Kanchan is pretty good. 3 Doras cut from Cheese to Go here. That's gonna sting a little bit. Oh
I'm just
gosh,
hoping
my heart hurts.
I'm just hoping Koala somehow managed to get like a Sunshockers 2-3-4 at some point, but it doesn't look like it, so it does take the Ricci.
For the 2-5 mon wait, and that 5 mon, if Cheese to Go chooses to push, will just flow out, but highly doubtful that Cheese to Go will choose to push.
Yeah, there's no incentive to push here. You have the 8 so that's safe, the 9 so looks pretty safe at this point, and obviously all the 3's safe and the 2's look pretty good as well. There's no reason to push yourself here.
Funnily, this is like in terms of in a dramatic sense of humor. What if Cheese to Go just ends up being Chitoi Tenpai, waiting with the pairs of 2's and 5's to deny the wait? Of course, one can only dream, but I'd find that pretty
Oh
funny.
no, it's certainly possible. The issue is going to be throwing the 1 or 9 pin, and I don't see that happening.
Pinzu looks very expensive to Koala here, with no Pinzu cut until this point. Like, you'd have to imagine you'd be pretty spooked out by the Pinzu.
Oh yeah, the 2-5 doesn't actually look that bad. It just there's no incentive to push it.
5
here
here offered
you throw the 5, yeah. I don't mind giving the 4 up there.
Also, you snuck into the call, SBT, but welcome back. Hello, SBT. How are things?
Yes, I've been here for a bit.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
running some background stuff. You're doing fine. Keep up the good job.
No, sorry, I didn't quite catch you. Does end up drawing the 5 mon for 5 here, and can't get rid of the 5 pin, so cuts the 2 6-0s and is mawashiing around on the 5 pin. Chi from Cheese to Go.
Wow, that 1 pin was
That's a
bold.
very strong cut from Cheese to Go here. Oh. Very powerful plays coming from the players around here. Ooh, now 5 does get the 2-5 pin Suji. His question is, will they cut it? They do choose to cut it, wanting to get that Ryukyoku money. And does get there in the end, so we see Tenpai from Koala and 5 here. Or Ronald, if we get 5 and the number 5 confused. Moving us to South 3. So 4th is a bit in the dumps, but not horribly so. Just have to see. I imagine a lot of these plays will be very greedy for that Richie stick in the middle, because 1,000 points here means quite a bit.
Right, it really hurts that it wasn't the only one Tempai. The 3,000 would have brought it in a much better situation, but now first is way out there, and you can still hit it with a Mangun Sumo, but the extra 3,000 point swing there really hurt.
And then I think that's the value in trying to push for Tenpai and Mawashi to Tenpai, right? Like, these, in a thin point margin, those smaller amount of point swings do mean a lot. So I'm not advocating that you full on Zen Supper for for K10, but you know, playing a bit aggressively, even cutting some life Suji for it can be beneficial, and even
Right,
is.
especially when the one pin came out, that wasn't a particularly bold cut. It could very well deal in, but wasn't the work. With throwing that two pin was really bold because I thought that had a very good chance of dealing in. But at that point, just trying to lock up the Tempai payments, and as a result, has first place right now.
So very fairly rewarded for the bravery. Yeah, I'll go with bravery. That's a better word.
And also, I think I saw that Cheese to go actually cut the 9-man, which was not even Genbutsu. Am I correct?
It was Suji.
Oh, it was actually Suji. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah,
Cheese to go here offered a interesting kind of hand. Could go for Chinitsu, but we'll have to get rid of the 1-2-man Penchan, which is would not normally be an issue, except the 2-man is the Dora.
No, I'm looking at this hand and I'm thinking Itsu maybe even open it at this point because no one's gonna think the 3 looks bad.
Do you take this 3-man?
I call this instantly, yes.
Again, hedging towards that side of a lot of our Australian players generally try to keep a bit more closed, so perhaps not wanting to take the 3-man. Even could be like a Cheese to go here wants to keep the Chinitsu open, so
Yeah, no, there are plenty of reasons not to call it. The issue is going to be if you don't, what are you going to do with that 1-2? You either have to cut both of them, including Dora, or you have to pair up, or you have to draw the 3 yourself. And this is looking slower and slower as you get to turn 11.
Tempai for Koala. Tanyao
One here.
Aka skips the win,
Ron.
and we'll see 3 of the weights evaporate at the speed of light. Does get
Oh, you
offered
have
a
to repeat
second
that. Ooh,
Tempai.
San Anko, isn't it? No, that was no. You definitely take that. The Dama, Tanyao, Ipeiko, Dora. Yeah, you have to take that 5200. I don't understand that play at all.
On foot, but doesn't chooses not to take it, and does end up getting back into Tempai, drawing the for 6-2 so Shabo, and does end up getting the Tsumo because 5 switches around the call order, so is rewarded with a manga, and so reached Tsumo, Ipeiko, Tanyao, Aka, and that will be massive because that'll move things. Oh my gosh, how thin are the points here? Everyone's. Oh my gosh, what is this? It's like no more than 5k apart?
That's right. This is a really interesting situation. The question is who's going to go fast and who's going to look for value. If we have that dealer with the Anko here, maybe go Honitsu and get that 5800 and be done with the hand, but that's going to require cutting the Dora.
So dealer here is also being offered the option of speed versus value in the Honitsu. The 5-so cut almost it doesn't cement it in the Pinzu, but it is a hit to
I like the 5.
Yeah.
I like the 5-so cut there. You're keeping your options open, which is the main goal here. Now I'm definitely going Honitsu. Throw the 8 if the 9 pairs up, then you have a different option. But there's a really good chance to connect to something, and right now you have to get the 7, 8, or 9 mon, and it really doesn't look that good. The 7 mon will never come out, and you have to draw either the 8 or 9. And if you draw the 8, you don't feel very good about it.
But it is an early Tempai, so like it's a bit. It can feel a bit hard to turn down an early Tempai like this.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, no, that's Tempai. Yeah, that's Tempai. In that case, yeah, sorry, I completely missed that. Yeah, in that case, you absolutely take it because your 3900 Dama is good enough.
Do you ever reach it here?
No, absolutely not. If nothing else, you have the option to draw another 9 mon and switch to a weight that's on the 1 pin, which looks really good.
That makes sense. Choose to go here. Maybe looking towards a Chinitsu kind of shape again. Maybe not necessarily, but we'll choose to cut the Haku and Shun. Maybe hoping that like a reach pin through Dora will be enough. Reach pin through Sumo Dora will definitely be enough to get first place. If they can get it, of course. Honitsu push from Genji here. It makes sense. They do want at least 2,000 points, and oddly enough, the Hanitsu is the fastest way to 2,000 for them. Oh, Aka 5-pin draw. Now I have an interesting. So, Aka 5-pin draw puts Cheese to go in Ishan 10 for what? Reach Pinfu, Dora, maybe Tanyao or
Yeah,
Dora.
Tanya or Dora, yeah,
Yep.
depending on how you look at it. It's Mongun either way.
Does get into
Did you-
Tenpai. Would you slide that tile sideways?
Pinfu, Tanya, Dora, is that enough?
Not
Nope, I mean,
on a run. Like if you run off anyone else, it's not enough. But sumoing Damage would be. So does like to go for the Richi. So 4-7 pin.
you're in fourth, you might as well reach you. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. Genji gets into Tenpai for the Kanchan 5-so for Hanitsu Nomi. 2 5-sos out. Tenpai for Koala. Does Karagiri reach? So draws the 1 pin, but decides to cut the 1 pin from the middle of their hand, banking on hoping that the Suji trap will work on the early 4-man cuts.
You shouldn't be trusting Suji next to Dora anyway. But regardless, 7-pin looks really bad to the player in front of it.
Oh gosh. Delay. So 5 does oikake them and does get the ippats off of Cheese to go here, putting 5 into first place. So that including all of the sticks, I think it was just barely that adding that extra stick in there gave 5 that first place and the ippats. So that does put Cheese to go in last place. So we do have 5 in first place, Koala in second place, Genji in third place, and Cheese to go in last place.
Yeah, I don't like the dealer Oikake there. You're just adding 1,000 to the pot and losing your ability to change the hand. Sure, you might be able to add some more value, but again, with the big Uma, your primary goal is locking up first right there.
And it actually did end up mattering in that game because if I'm
No,
not
it didn't.
miscounting the points, without that
No, it
Rishi
was
stick in the middle,
300 split. It would have been a 2,000 swing, and it was more than 2,000. It didn't end up mattering.
was it more than 2,000? I don't think
Oh
so.
yeah, about 2 or 3 or so.
Oh, was it? Oh, sorry. I thought it was 1,000 something. Ah, yes, sorry, yep. But
Still
yeah,
would have been a 200-point win, but regardless, you ended up exposing yourself to a possible sumo that could have dumped you down to third place. Is the other part of this. That 1,000 points actually could have hurt a lot more than it ended up doing.
All right, well that ends the second Hanchan, and we are stuck here for another. These Hanchans have been ending a lot faster than I expected. So I guess we're back to the banter board for a little bit. Do we have updates on the scores? Maybe we can do an intermediate score look at. Yeah. The scores are updated, so might as well have a quick look at that one. Correct, you have the sheet, right? So that I'm not just talking and it doesn't make any sense. The Google Doc.
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now.
All right, awesome. All right, so let's have a quick mid-game score check. So, Flame Curse Evil Eye has taken over first place from Tile Dreaming. I guess 2 first places will do that for you. But other than that, there are no huge changes in the thing. We still have this group of the first 4. I think the gap between 4th and 5th place has been widened a little bit, but we sort of have 2 huge groupings between like the first 4 and the middle 4 and the last 2. So yeah, we are reaching the halfway point of our thing. So after this week is what 5 more weeks left. But yeah, so the ever important position, of course, when you're playing these things is your gap to 4th place, because we are doing so how you advance in this tourney is playoff rounds. So what's going to happen is that the first 4 players are going to advance to the next round, and the first 4 teams are going to advance to the next round where they play SBT, do you know how many Hanchans the Final Four play? They'll play some amount of Hanchans.
30 something. I'm not exactly sure. What is it exactly?
I don't remember, but I'm sure we will find that out another day. Oh yes, over here. Each team,
36.
first of all, they'll play 8 Hanchans. Team scores from the previous stage will be carried over and halved. So, yep. So your points still kind of matter even if you're in first place. But the very coveted position is the 4th place because your points will be halved anyway. So your gap between first and 4th place will be halved. So it doesn't particularly matter is not the right word. It's more important to see if you can snipe 4th out of their positions. But again, we have 5 weeks left, so plenty of Mahjong to be played, and we still have, 2 Hanchans to be played tonight?
100, right?
Oh, wait, 1. Oh, sorry, 2 Hanchans is in, like, there's two separate Hanchans
Oh,
going on at the same time.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yep. Yes, and so we'll be queuing on that in 10 minutes. This is where I wish I had SBT's slides in the middle so we could awkwardly sort of stop it, but I do not have that, so that is completely my bad there. I'll be sure to improve the stream quality on my end sometime soon. So, are you filled with a sense of pride, Nosti? Your team is currently first place.
Yeah, I'm completely filled with sense of pride that my team can definitely carry me very well. So I'm proud of everyone. I'm just like the support guy, and everyone can carry me to victory. Except I'm not a very good support because I just fed about like 5 deaths at this point. So.
Actually, this is an interesting story, right? So I believe this team is entirely friends from university, if I'm not mistaken, because we had a thing where you wanted to join a different team at the start, as in, yeah, something like that. So like these are all your friends from university.
Yeah. So we were originally part of we all went to UNSW. We were all part of the UNSW Mahjong Society at that point, which was at least 5 years ago, at least. It's sort of similar to how in England they had the Cambridge Mahjong Society as well. And yeah, so these are all people from university that were part of the Mahjong club.
Fair enough. Is it like did you guys have to teach each other anything, or is it just all like 4 like mahjong people who all knew how to play, and you just sort of met up through the university?
At that point, we all know how to play. So like the first time I met them, like we all know how to play. And at that point, our skill rating skill level was pretty decent already. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We played basically every 2 weeks, and met at a club room.
Fair enough. Do you guys ever? So this is more of a personal question. So you know how you have your home game. So you have people that you play with a lot. So like on ladder, you play your usual game of like you don't actually know any of the players, so you can't presume anything. But then when you have your home games, you have people that you can try and get into their habits. So do you have anyone who you sort of like you try to read into them a little bit, or do you still try to play a standard game?
I usually play a pretty standard game, no matter who I meet. But people like Muller, they're much. I feel like he's easier to face than other players just because I just play with him like a lot. So I sort of know the style of play that he plays. So um, yeah, there are some players like that, and yeah, like Muller for example.
Well, with my club, we were all 10-0 players to begin with, so nothing really changes. What you really adapt to is how often and how effective calling ends up being. Do I respect this person? Are there any door that I should be suspicious of? What's going to happen here?
So yeah, so you were playing like open tendencies. So did you have any players who you felt like only opened with Mangan in their hands, so you'd be a bit more cautious for opens, or even people
Yeah,
who?
we have one person like that, and generally you respect them. and and you respect his reaches because he plays for big closed hands. But the corollary is that means everyone else then starts calling a lot more aggressively, as you've seen with Butane and I.
Mm, mm. And
Do
so
you
then,
also,
oh, sorry, you go first.
do you also, I was just wondering because, do you also have times where like you can, because in real life Mahjong, it's not really close to Tenho. Do you also have times where like you can read someone's reads? Like for example, if they like sumo a tile and then, if they have some like a tell, you can tell that they actually have a pretty decent hand. Let's say their hands are shaking and they sumo a tile. I mean, that's pretty easy to notice, but anything like that.
Well, the short answer is yes until we told them about it. Uh,
Wait, that's
this
the
is
first
actually a
mistake. Why
story
would you tell
involving.
them? You gotta let them
Well,
have the tell forever.
this was so obvious that we just couldn't resist. Butane, when we were playing for the first couple weeks, anyway, as I say, he was way worse than everyone else at the table. One of the worst instances was he would take his tiles that he was going to throw away and put them out in front of his hand, and so I reach in. I'm not worried about Butane. He's at best Rian Shanten. How on earth do you know that's possible? And we just all bust out laughing and he takes one look at the two tiles in front of his hand because he's been doing this as a habit. And oh, I should stop doing that.
I presume this was when Butane was newer to Mahjong and you were just
Yeah,
bullying
no,
them.
this was the first few weeks in there, but basically, unless you're giving off an obvious tell, most people have a poker background, especially in our club, so you're not going to get the obvious tells unless it's just complete tilting after the hand. Where the fuck was my? For example, that 7 man that was stuck in the dead wall a couple Hanchans ago. You definitely get the tilting rant afterwards if that had happened.
Right, yeah. You just start steaming, right? You're just like, I played perfectly. I built this hand perfectly. Come on, where are my weights?
Right. I even set the Suji trap. Everything was early. Nothing was suspicious. The wall just trolled me. Oh, woe is me.
Oh, whoa, I am the fool now. I think the closest instance I have to it, I don't try to read too hard into people because I still have much to learn, like reading into the board. So I don't try to do it. But I know that a few of my friends, they were picking up that someone, if they read sheet and they would pause very slightly to a tile, it meant that their weight was suji to that tile. So if they like pick up I think it was like something like if they picked up a 4 pin, they paused before they put it back in the middle. It means they were waiting on the 7 pin or the 1 pin. But like I didn't notice it. It was just more of they were laughing about it. So I don't notice the details. So 2 minutes in, how about you guys have your dealer's pick? Mainly because both Hanchans here have one team with which we've already watched twice. So the first Hanchan has so the Hanchan featuring Sigma and ESP has AU NSW Wanderers, which we've watched 2 Hanchans worth, and oh no, we've watched 2 Hanchans worth of them. I guess we should watch the other team then. Yeah, so we'll watch.
Oh,
What's up? Sorry.
I was about to say we can just ask the stream like what do they want to watch.
Yes. Anyone in the stream have a preference for which ones we watch? I think people were wanting to watch the higher level on March Souls, or maybe ESP. But in terms of balance, we can watch the first Hanchan here because we actually haven't watched a Hanchan with Notice Me Tenpai yet, which is my team, and I'd like to cheer them on very biasedly from the background.
Stream Chewy, which is by the way on the same team as ESP, said watch the Saint 3, of course.
Watch the Saint 3. Ah, I see. Wait, which one's Saint? Oh, yeah, okay. So, did we want to watch the Saint?
Well, it's a bit biased because he's on the same team, but yeah, it depends on you guys.
Any preferences, correct?
Nah, I'm good for anything.
I think.
Watch the Saint 3 and watch the Adelaide player smash his face in.
Oh, sounds good. All right, SBT has is repping that Adelaide pride and wants to see the Saint 3 player suffer under the combined actions of the Adelaide. There's no
Just
team
for
play,
the
right?
record, if we lose, I am defecting.
I mean, last time we watched Adelaide, you had a lot of instances where you were like, I'm going to have to go and ask them about that one. So we'll have to see what happens. Alright, so East 1, Hanchan, East 1. We have Hughes in the East seat, Gwills or Smiles in the South seat, Sigma in the West seat, and ESP in the North seat. Sha Anko on our left here makes his hand pretty fast. Nice 2 Shantan as well with 3 Raumans actually, so I expect something like a reach, or early reach, hopefully with Akka, but if they draw a 9-pin, I wonder if they'll get rid of it. Looking around the board, maybe 1, 2, 3 Sandshocker for Smiles over here on our right in the South seat, although getting rid of that 1 mon has definitely extinguished that Sandshocker chance.
Everyone kind of has a middling hand. No one has something where you're like, that's going to be super fast. That's going to be worth a lot of value. These are just basic bland starting hands. That 2-mon helps a lot, though. You can cut the 8-pin, and that way accept either side of the 0-pin, which is the only value you're going to have in that hand.
And even if you end up on a Kanshan way, you don't really mind, I guess.
Right. There isn't any value in this hand otherwise. And of course, if you reach Sumo Dora, because it's going to be a Kanchan with the Sha Anko, it's worth 5,200, and that's good enough right there.
I have been informed from the stream that Jay that Gwills is not Smiles. They're two different
Whoa,
people.
my bad. Who's Gwills? That's a mistake for me. I'm very sorry about that. Let me go look it up. Who the proper player? Oh, is it just Gwills?
Yeah, it is. It's just yeah, it is the post. It's the he's from Brisbane. He's part of the
Oh,
Brisbane team.
Smiles is DC. It doesn't
Yeah.
help that there are so many people with just different names, I just presume. I'm very sorry about that. Yeah, so Gwills is just Gwills. My mistake. Also, we have the Baller of the Wallets here because we have 2 Kavis. I don't actually know who the opposite player is, and 1 Ichihime. So maybe we'll find out if money does end up buying you flow in Mahjong Soul.
Well, interesting situation for ESP's hand that 3 of the 6-pin are out now that he can see. So I might just go ahead and cut this 7-pin anytime now instead of a Suji trap later.
Oh, yep,
well,
yep.
that makes it easy.
So nice reachy from ESP. Reach Dora. Waiting for the 2-5 so. Unfortunately, because it's not a Kanchan weight, if they sumo with no Ura, it will only be a 1,000, 2,000 hand. But again, you can't really complain about Raumon with Dora 1s.
Yeah, there's some players who would be tempted to sit back and wait for a Sanshoku upgrade, but it's good wait. You have a Dora. Richisumo Dora is 4,000 and Aura's 8,000. You absolutely take this.
We saw a very quick dumping of the 6-pin here for Hughes. No fear of the... Is this a correct application of the Matagi Suji? 778. Yeah.
I don't think it's too bad because
The
he
3
did go to
came out
7-8.
and you had the 7-8 earlier, so it's not that bad.
I think also Sigma got into Tenpai waiting for 4-7 so for for Pinfu. Yeah, so Sigma got into Tenpai for that Pinfu and chose to Dharma it. And so end up taking those 2 Richie 6 from ESP and Hughes, netting them a nice, I guess technically tripling their value, but ending that nonsense and not having to deal with the stress of that situation. So moving us along to East 2. Again, it seems like everyone has a slightly middling hand. I guess what's the prettiest hand is Sigma's, right?
You have Hatsu pair for ESP, Sigma has a tone pair, is going to open it, try and move this hand forward. And even the player to the right has some really good shapes. The problem is going to be that Dora, which is next to nothing. And now you have a really obnoxious 3/6/9 mon.
Actually, interestingly, a friend of mine was talking to me about not 3/6/9 mon, but 2/5/8 mon is not actually as ugly as it seems, because if you draw any non-terminal tile in that suit, you get a roundman. So
Yeah, that'd be correct. The problem is it takes 3 tiles for one shape, and they're all disconnected. Usually something else will be better elsewhere, so you're going to end up with a 5/8 or a 2/5. Or in the weird situation where you go for Chanta Jun-chan, you just cut the 5 right away. Does decide to throw the Dora. I'm not sure I like that, given the obnoxious Penchan 3-so shape you're going to need. The hand just really looks slow. I guess maybe you shift to Tanyao, but there just isn't much you can make from it, especially when someone behind you is already called 2 times.
Do you prefer something like a 1/2-so cut and get rid of the penchant now?
Yeah, I cut it there. Your big concern is that he calls the Dora, and then all of a sudden there's 3,900 showing on your dealer turn.
Yeah. Always a bit terrifying when, even if all the value showing is still quite harsh and expensive. Let's see here. Pawn from Sigma does end up taking that 1/4-so weight. For Ton Aka. Now, I don't know. Do you guys read Legend of Koizumi? Oh, that 5-so cut. Interesting. Committing to the Chitoi, I think. But yes, do you guys read Legend of Koizumi, the manga?
I haven't read it.
Well, there is
No,
a move in it, as liberally as you can describe moves in a satirical mahjong manga, called Cute Blossom Rinshan Kaiho. And what you do in Cute Blossom Rinshan Kaiho is you draw one side of your weight, you can it, and you sumo the other side. Now SBT, I hope you've been teaching your players to Cute Blossom Rinshan Kaiho.
No comment.
Alright, so we do have a Chito Ishanten here for Hughes. Have to see if they can draw into it, but I don't imagine.
Cute Blossom Rinshan Kaiho is kind of a advanced mahjong tactic at SBT's basic school of mahjong. We kind of teach more basic mahjong here. And Sigma, you can see he took the basic side of this.
No. Okay, no. All jokes aside, obviously you take the win there, but it would have been funny. I think I would have found it immensely entertaining.
Well, if you read Saki, you also should have done that as well. Rinshan Kaiho for the win.
Exactly. You up your hand value from 501k to what, 1326?
Exactly.
So we are in East 3. Sigma is the dealer. Dora is 1 mon.
Everyone has the chance except the dealer at this point, so I expect this to be very boring. Richi Pinfu, possibly Dora.
Oh, Ipeiko?
Ooh, that's a good draw. Now you have the Ipeiko chance. Ooh, that's a really greedy cut. I like that. Now you're looking for a possible Chanta on top of everything else.
I was actually wondering your thoughts on... Oh, nice. 1-so does lock in the Ipeiko there. I was wondering your thoughts on if you cut the 3-pin and keep the Chitoi open. Not that you would probably ever go for Chitoi, but there is a squinting universe about it.
The reason you would throw the 3-pin first normally is just in case you get the 0-pin. And at that point, you can cut something else.
Oh, what? Is that a Tenpai dump?
Oh my goodness.
Wait, what? Oh.
Yes, it is.
The man dumps the Tenpai. Cheese the... Oh, what the...
What?
Oh, what the...
Oh,
What?
No.
Huh?
Chanta now, Atozuke Chantador with only 2 left, and we know where they are.
I'm so confused.
I think that was just a simple miss. I think that was just a bit of a mistake there. Yeah, like he definitely should have. You could just reach it there.
Yeah, and you get reach pin food.
Yeah,
Ipeko, which
reach
is a
pin
nice 5-8.
Ipeko,
Now
yeah.
you've got an awkward wait on 2-9.
Right, and this is only worth 2,900 instead of your 58, possibly a lot more. It's just a flat out mistake. There is no reasonable way to go for that.
Does this mean the defect is happening from SBT?
It's going to be a very good talking to.
This will actually be justified because that was just bad. They're just no defense, and now is going to get punished for it.
No, always rewarded. I don't know what you mean. There is the 9-man will magically come out of Hughes' hand. Okay, all jokes aside, this is a very bad situation for Sigma here. Ipatsumo!
As I said, punished for it.
Reach Ipatsumo. What Ura? Ura 2 doesn't bring it up to more than a Mungan, but, you know, you take those. And so we'll give Gwills Gwills our lone Brisbane player, right? So we'll give Gwills that nice point lead moving into East 4.
I believe Reriel was also from Brisbane.
Oh, okay.
Or the Queensland area.
Which one is our lone player? We have one lone player, don't we?
Western Australia. Mazzy, I think it was.
Sorry, Karak, I interrupted you.
Yeah, we have a dealer with the Yakuhai pair, and this looks a bunch of really bad shapes. I mean, really bad shapes at this point, but lots of ways to improve the hand.
You see the opportunity for like an open Sunshock Dora here.
I see also possibility for even a Chanta if you want to keep the instant call on that.
Skip on the 2-pin.
No, I don't like that at all. The Chanta shift and possibly use the Chun as your pair is also an option.
One of those, like your hand is too awkward unless you call on this 2-pin, right?
Exactly, because you need specifically the 8-pin and the 7 so to make anything from it.
Probably just electing to hope for the... Maybe as a sense for ESP, they don't want to make the Yaku too obvious? Maybe? I'm not sure though. Tenpai for Hughes, reach Pinfu. Oh, sorry, not even Pinfu, sorry, reach.
No, just 3-chi. But it's a pretty good weight. It may come out, even if it doesn't.
Ipatsumo, alright.
Yeah, another Ipatsumo.
Reach Ipatsumo, no Ura, so just a nice 1,000, 2,000. Moving us to South 1. Man, what has happened? I felt like the past 4 hands just went by in a flash.
I like these games where people who make mistakes are then punished for them immediately.
So like is your ideal Hanchan when someone like misses a call that they deal into a Kokushi the next turn?
Not necessarily Kokushi, but just a nice little Hane Mansumo by someone else in your dealer turn, that type of thing.
Fair enough. You're big on the Mahjong karma, aren't you?
Yeah, no. If you do something dumb, you should be punished for it. If you do something well, you should be rewarded for it.
I see. So what do we have looking around here? We have Sigma with the Nan pair, which is very nice. ESP's hand is a complete mess. They seem to be going for Bakahon, which I don't blame them for because...
Yeah, well, it's not Bakahon at this point because you also have the pay. So you have some value there. It's just really slow, even with calling. You have a really good shape from Shimochai here, but you really want to try and call that too because eventually that 2-5-8-9 piece shape has to probably turn into at least 1 block and maybe 2.
Another 2 Sojuro from Gwills. Chooses to cut the 2-pin, losing the Sanshoku chance, but keeping a slightly higher Ukeire on something like a 2 draw, I guess. Oh, yeah, Onso. I know Onso would have been accepted either way. Aka 5 does come out from Quills, so seems to not be valuing that Sanshoku and probably going for a more mainline hand.
I don't really like it. I probably would have cut the 6-mon. Oh, wait. Hold on. Let me see. That 1-mon. Oh, that's a really annoying shape. I didn't notice this before, but it's likely going to end up Fury 10.
But they will end up waiting on the Sanslo, and praise be. ESP's hand is starting to come together. He is drawing the correct Manzu to maybe bail out this awful starting hand.
I think a couple of like quick pongs or like cheese will definitely like revive this hand. Like if he gets the pay pong or something like that, he has like pretty decent shapes in the Manzu, so he can definitely go chi and get himself into Tenpai. Although it's not a very expensive hand.
But look at this dealer Ishanten with 2 Dora and possible Pinfu if to draw the 5 or the 7 so. Although the 7 so is looking really bad right now.
Yeah, 7 so looks awful. Could even be a Tanyao shift if Hughes draws a 4 or 7 pin. Also, from our perspective, like the 5 so is dead, so this shape is awful.
Yeah, you don't know that, and it's gonna hurt when you look at it in the review. But there isn't anything you can do about it at this point. If you get to Tenpai, you have to take the 5 weight just because you know the 7 is basically dead.
Oh, that'll bail out maybe.
That'll help it.
That could bail him out on 2 so draw. There are no 2 so's left. Yeah,
Whoa,
okay.
Look at that draw by ESP. Tenpai. Now, do you take the Ryanman or do you take the Shaw weight? Sorry, the pay weight.
Does take the Roundman, going for the cheaper 3900, but 3900 if they get the wrong side.
Right, the 6-mon will also at Itsu, and we know that the 6-mon is dead, but he doesn't.
Oh, 7 pin. Mentioning that Tanya shift. We'll pawn the 8 so I imagine. Yes. And the hand is now revived for Tanya Dora, so a nice 5800 punch. So what do we have? 3/6 mon versus 5/8 mon versus 2 mon 3 mon Shabo. No Yaku for Gwills though, so hoping to sumo it.
You actually dodged the feed into ESP's hand by throwing the 4-mon over there.
Ooh, nice sumo for Hughes. Tanya Dora sumo for 2,000 all, which would be really nice, because even just denying the win for ESP here. Yeah. So as SBT hoped, the Adelaide people are beating up the... I forgot the rank name again, sorry. The Saint player.
Yeah, so ESP now has an Anko Yakuhai Dora.
The sand in the bottom of hell is a magical sand. We'll have to see if they get it though, but I can't imagine this is nothing more than call everything and go for that quick win.
Calling.
Oh, that 8-pin draw is
with
amazing.
a draw like that, that's amazing. Everyone has reasonably fast hands here. It's just you're facing that.
We could almost see a Kawashi tear from Gwills here, especially if Gwills can pick up the 7-pin. The last 7-pin, admittedly, but the 7-pin nonetheless. So Ishan 10 for... Oh!
That's a nice draw.
That's a very nice draw. So, yes, while ESP's hand is deadly and scary, like, it won't matter if Gwills can shut it down fairly quickly.
What was that 9-mon cut? Should have cut the 6/8-mon instead and been in a really good shape. Or you could just redraw your pair and add Tanya. Well, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. Sort of put yourself into Ishan 10 for Pinfu. Reach Pinfu Dora.
Well, ESP is now in Tenpai. It's Tenpai on his 3-mon, which is actually his Suji.
So that's also tempo for Hughes for a reach Nami on the Kanchan 3, so praise be. Will ESP Oikage? No, chooses to Dharma. The interesting thing here is, despite the Suji trap, who's really going to deal the 3-mon in this scenario?
Especially when the 6-so gets thrown, because everyone's going to go, wait, what?
Oh, is he folding?
Ooh. Yeah, I really dislike that play. You're in fourth, you have a Dora Yaku Hayanko. Again, makes a mistake, gets punished.
I mean, that was going to happen anyways, but I understand what you mean.
Yeah, it was. But justice is served, and that's what's important.
Like, it doesn't matter if justice was caused by the misplay, is your opinion? It's just that justice was served?
Yes.
Alright, moving us to South 1-2. Hughes is very good for Hughes as well, because shutting down that hand, no Oyakabri on that is massive, massive. Pair of Dora here for ESP, pair of Souths here for Gwills. Completed meld and a round and a pair for Sigma. Cheaper for Sigma, but I mean, it's not a bad hand. Pinfu.
I don't like that Dora cut by Hughes. I'd have thrown the 6-so there. As much as I hate Chitoy, it's a viable path here. You Eddie Peiko. You still don't know what your pair is necessarily. And right now you're basically trying to lock into a Tanya, I guess, with that. But there are so many better ways this hand could have developed.
And, like, at least floating that Dora for a few more turns would help.
You don't expect that it's necessarily going to complete in your hand, but without an obvious pair, this 2-4-4-6, I actually like that because there's so many ways for it to go. Or again, they could draw the pair, and I don't know what I'm talking about.
So they do draw the pair of 6-so here, putting them into Ishanten for, I was gonna say Ipeiko Tanya, but now it's just Tanya Nami. But that does make sense. Like, don't get too greedy for this one. So ends up early wait for 2-5-so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 left in the wall. This is a very early dead roundman, but sorry, dead-ish roundman. But there are still 2 in the wall, so you know.
Sigma may end up throwing it, going for the Sun Shuku, so it's not quite as bad as it looks.
Ooh, so yeah, alright, that might come out, maybe. Or will they choose to? No, they choose to cut the 8-mon. The 8-mon?
I don't know.
Maybe trying to float the Sun Shoku without cutting the 2-so? I guess?
The only way that works is if you draw another 2-so.
I'm expecting it to happen whenever you say that from now on, Korak.
They do seem to be making me look really dumb, so I approve of that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's still 2-5-so away. Everyone seems to be progressing their hands very normally. Oh, we see another Tenpai from Gwills, and Gwills is not willing to go for the Penshan Richi because it is Reach Nami, so maybe hoping to draw that Nan at the very least and go for like a Reach double Nan or even like a double Nan, which is even more value technically.
Right. You want to try. Oof. Yeah, it's going to come out now.
Yeah, unfortunate. What were you saying, sorry?
Yeah, so no, you wait for some sort of value here. If you draw the 8-so, you're in Champone for a lot more value. You draw 9-so, you're in Champone for a lot more value. You draw the 9, you have a Tonka, which you can float over to anything to connect it and make a good weight. There's no reason whatsoever to take that Richi.
And if you draw the 7-so, just take the nice 300, 500 and move on.
Exactly.
So another win for Hughes here, putting us into South 1-3. This is a very good hand from Hughes. This is a maybe is very good. No. I think this is a pretty good hand. It's fast at the very least.
It's fast, but there's not that much value unless you can manage to get a Sun Shuku in here, which is looking more and more likely.
You could even there's even a long shot Itsu here, although long shot is under describing how hard it would be to get this Itsu.
Yeah, I'm not really thinking about it at this point. Now, an interesting draw would be if you got a Dora, would you keep it around for a while and try and pair it up?
Have to see what happens. I would personally cut the 3-pin, but I mean, I'm not playing, obviously, so my opinion is not as weighted. Or it's really up to Hughes and what they decide.
Everyone else's hands look relatively slow. ESP has some things that connect, maybe going for a Hanitsu shift, but everything's just really awkward at this point.
Does take the non-pawn, cutting the 7-pin, so going for a faster hand.
For eventually the Tonki on the Dora to get some value. I can't imagine going for 1,000 makes any sense here. Yeah, Pone, throw the 4. That's pretty standard.
7. Oh, that's a very nice draw. That puts him into Pinfu Sanshoku Ishanten. Interesting question. If you draw the 8-pin, are you gonna contort your hand into Sanshoku, or do you just take the nice reach Pinfu and move on?
As dealer, you just take the Riichi Pinfu. Yes, you're in first, and you could deal into something, but you don't have that much time. As we see, someone with 3 calls.
So
and
ESP
like a toy. I don't think anyone can throw the pay now.
Yeah. 8-man drop from Hughes, so cementing that 5-6-7 Sanshoku. Not seeing any use in the drawing a 4-man or a 9-man. Does get into Tenpai. Unfortunately for the cheaper side.
I don't mind the Dama here simply because of the third call. You know it's going to be at least 5,200.
Ooh, Sigma just dumps the Dora. So dealing into non-Dora Dora 5,200. Sorry, you were mentioning before I interrupted you?
Yeah, no, I don't mind the Dama here simply because you know you're facing a Ryanman Tenpai and you're almost certain you have less value. So there's nothing wrong with just taking the Dama and hoping the hand goes away.
Plus, if you draw that 5-pin, you can just like reach you for the Sanshoku.
Yeah, at that point you have a reason to fight for a possible Takame Mangan, but with what you have, there's just no reason to go for anything more than what's in front of you. Especially with a reasonably large first, which could disappear if you deal into a hand that looks like an obvious Mangan or higher. It turns out it was only 5,200 waiting on Dora, but that easily could have been Hanemon.
I don't actually think so, because they had an open pawn of the Tuso, so it couldn't be a Hanetsu. So the most value in that hand had to be a Dora bomb.
Toy Dora 3. Oh, that's right. That's just 5.
Yeah. But yeah, right. Yeah, no, sorry, you're right. Non-Toy Dora 3. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yep. So yeah, South 2. What other point margin? What's up?
We've also added north as well, so it could have been a Hanuman because he was north wind just then.
Right. Yep, yeah, I missed that. Yep, thank you for correcting that for me. What's going on?
Really awkward shapes for Hughes. SBT has...
Wait, SBT?
Something... ESP has a... Oh, that's a good draw there. Now you can maybe move to a Ipeco type shape. Who else? Sigma has a couple just one Penchon. Possibly Richipin Fudora. That doesn't help, though. And the player to the right, that's just a very straightforward Richipin Fudora. But it's dealer.
Oh, that 3-pin draw is amazing.
Wow. But it's still a really annoying 5-so Kanchan.
But it is a temp. Oh, sorry. Right, 5-pin is possible. It is a Tenpai Fedora 1. I wonder if you wait. It doesn't fit with waiting. I don't think there are enough tiles that help your hand that you can wait. Right? It's about...
No, exactly, because here's your improvement. You improve to a Shumpo and 7-mon 4-so. Is that improvement? No. As it is, you're fishing for the 0-so. and you get that, you sumo Mungan.
Mm-hmm. Or even just like sumoing right now and hitting Uro would be nice. So, I guess you take what you can get. Also throw up blocks in other people's hands. 2-so comes out from Gwills, putting their hand back to 2 Shanten, but will have a pair of safe tiles. So we've got the hard fold from Hughes, the slightly hard fold from... Well, no, ESP's just been smooth. Wait, sorry, that 9-so came out after, didn't it? So that was a push, the 9-so.
Yes, it was a push. Try to keep the Dora, I guess. I don't know. I kind of don't mind actually throwing the Dora if you got to, say, Sananko Tempai, but it's one of those where nothing looked particularly safe, so you might as well throw it. Normally, you'd want to throw, say, the 8-pin, but the 5-pin was the Ricci tile, so you can't trust it. And it's just a situation we're backed into a corner, didn't have a better choice.
But could you consider that? So 9-so is live. Could you not consider 8-pin as just live as well, rather than being maybe explicitly more dangerous than the? So do you consider like Ricci Suji more dangerous than live Suji, or the same as live Suji?
Well, yeah, live Suji near Dora is obviously way more dangerous. I didn't like the play, but that was the thinking behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, yeah, this is just a pretty straightforward chi for K10. Actually, no, there's a Hyaku there with a 3-6.
Mm-hmm. Although, probably just wanting those tempo payments, then we'll get them. So she short of a blunder here on... Oh gosh, we're just moving everything around. So Sampin does move to Gwills' hand.
And he safe tiles in his hand, so his safe tile was the 7 anyway, so yeah, it was a pretty good cheat.
And it moves ESP to second place, going to South 3. The Tempai payments, again, not only are you taking the extra points from the person you're fighting with second, but you're keeping fourth from gaining that 4,000 point swing.
And that's very important when you're trying to play it for first with every point mattering. Not as thin point margins this time around, but every point matters, so why give up the points if you don't have to? So
now those are some really annoying shapes
for
for
for fun.
Yeah, I don't mind the con there, especially wow, what a draw. Now I don't like the 8-pin there, but I guess setting up a trap on the 9-pin later. But this is the problem. If it comes out now, then you're stuck waiting on basically one in the wall.
You're also presuming that people fold against you what if they have like decent holdings, then obviously from our perspective they don't, but it seems a bit scary.
Well, the reason that ESP kept the 6-so was it connects to the new Aura.
Oh, so now backfire.
And there's the backfire, and that's why I would have kept the 8-pin. Is now you have Tempai, it's a really lousy one, but it's at least Tempai. And with the extra Con Aura, I don't mind a Rishi there because you have value. I definitely get the 6-so here and go for the Sananko.
Yep, and that seems to be an agreement from ESP over here. What about everybody else? Where are all the Hatsus? There's like 3 buried in the second half of the wall. So it's starting to make Sigma's Hatsu look worse and worse because, well, from Sigma's perspective, why are there no Hatsus being cut?
Yeah, you have to assume someone has a pair, and you're getting to turn 9. There's a con on the board. You can't really float it. The rest of your hand is a mess. You may be able to connect to something if, say, you draw a 3-pin, but the 5-man looks bad, the 2-man looks bad, and then you're gonna have to throw that Hatsu.
Tenpai for Gwils for North Dora 3 on the Kanchan 6-man. Very deadly hand hiding.
Yeah, nice little surprise waiting for someone.
Oh, wider
nice.
Tenpai on the 6-9 man. But we'll have to get rid of the Akadora and just elect to Dama.
I don't mind a Ricci there. Yeah. Very rarely will someone Ricci on the red 5 and then wait like that. But now we have an interesting situation. Do you take the Shampoo or do you take the 2-pin weight? And I don't like this because the 2 pins, there are only 2 of them out. The 1 pin looks reasonably safe with that earlier 3-pin Sumo Giri. And as we know, the 2 pins are dead at this point, so it's just a prayer that you draw the Dora. But
what do you think about Gwils' Dama here?
I definitely don't like it now. There's no reason whatsoever to Dama.
Oh, the 6-man does come out from Sigma.
Well, yeah, but Sigma just had to push basically anything. Even if there were a Ricci for the Ipatsu, I think Sigma has to keep pushing because it's the last dealer turn in South 3. The Sumo kills you and dooms you to 4th anyway.
Oh, Sigma does have the makings of a comeback hand with 2 Dora and that Ankan of Hatsu.
Instant con. Yeah, you want as much volatility in this hand as possible. This is an instant con.
Electing to wait just a little bit. What do we have around here? 1 Dora for ESP, but other than that, 2 Roundmans. That's not a bad hand. It just doesn't feel particularly great. Alright, so Khan after drawing the 3-man adds the 8-man Dora. Does draw a nice 7-so, so that's really good. Oh gosh, that 8-so draw for Hughes is absolutely filthy.
Yeah, Hughes' big concern is he's probably going to have to end up throwing the Dora at some point, and isn't going to want to have to do that.
Oh, ESP just progresses into Ishan 10, maybe waiting on that golden Kanchan 3-so. How big would Sigma's hand need to be to get out of the depths of hell that he's in right now?
Let's see, Baimon Sumo, Hanemon Sumo is enough to get out of 4th. In terms of actually progressing and fighting for 1st, yeah, it's Sun Baimon, I think.
What would you need? Reach, Epatz, Sumo, Dora, Ura 8 or something?
Something like that. It's a bit much. You're playing for 3rd place at this point.
So Ishan 10 here for Hughes. Now has a Tanyao switch, which is really, really, really good. Allow an open Yaku and just sort of progression.
Absolutely. Lock up your 1st place if possible.
ESP's hand slightly stagnating, just a little bit. Still 2 Shan 10, but on pretty nice 2 Shan 10. 2 Roundmans and a Round Khan. That's an interesting cut.
I'd have just thrown the 2-so there.
Yeah. It's slightly faster, and at this point with 2 Dora, you probably just want to reach you as soon as possible.
Exactly.
The 4-so does allow ESP to chi, putting them into Ishan 10 on a Roundman Round Khan for Haku Dora 1 or Dora 2 if they can get that 2-man. Not much going on for anyone else here, at least nothing I can directly see. 2-man does come out from Gwils.
That is a bold play. I'd have gotten rid of the 6 if I wanted to push it. That's an interesting play. You could consider cheating the 4-pin if it doesn't get called, but it got called.
Doesn't get off upon the
instant. Oh, no, yeah, you're in Tenpai now.
Back in business, 3-6-man Tenpai for Hughes for Tanyao. Tanyao will end it all. Tenpai for ESP on the Kanchan 2-man wait, so waiting closed on the Dora. Hard to... Wonder what happens if Hughes picks up that Dora. 5-pin Sumogiri. Where are these Tenpai tiles for Sigma?
But it's not going to make a big difference. The big story Well, that's the end of this one.
Yes, and that is a Tanya that will indeed end it all and give Hughes here the first place. And ending our Hanchan there. So we do end with Hughes in first place, Gwills in second place, ESP in third place, and Sigma in last place. SBT. Oh.
Yeah, do you want to bring Hughes in?
Oh, right. If this is who I think it is, so this person will not be free for an interview, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Much needed break because they are from the team Powerpuff Boys, who I rated very highly, and so a much needed break from everything. But I believe that wraps us up for the evening. So if the standings are entered, we will have a quick look at how the Hanchan has affected the total standings. So we can see that Flame Curse Evil Eye is still back on top. But other than that, not actually very much movement. We see a swapping of Notice Me Tenpai and Zomini Kateridus. But other than that, everyone is still roughly in the same positions as they were previously. Chomonami went down one spot, but other than that, not much. If we see Flame Curse Evil Eye taking it away, do they get another first place?
Yeah, they managed to get another first place.
Triple first place day. You gotta love that one. Clearly, you on the commentary desk gives them good flow. Hey, Nosti.
Yeah, absolutely. I should definitely commentate more. So I'll be back next week and all the way until week 10, I guess. Thanks for having me on.
I mean, next week will be interesting because we do have Muller on the commentary desk, so I think that'll be interesting. But we'll see what happens. Other than that, though, that does end all of the Hanchans for us today. I want to thank everyone here on the commentary desk. So, thank you, Nosti, for joining us.
No problem.
And thank you very much, Korak, for torturing yourself until 5 or 8 in the morning now, is it?
Yeah, it's 7:47 in the morning now, so I think I'm gonna get some sleep.
But thank you so much for coming on. Your insight has been completely awesome, and it's just sort of really awesome that you were able to come on. So thank you so much again. Other than that, join us next week as we continue on ARMA League and see how these teams fight it out between each other. And yeah, until then, see you guys later.